1-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. Reuters reports a U.S. law requiring the deportation of immigrants convicted of certain crimes of violence is unconstitutionally vague, according to the U.S. Supreme Court ruling on Tuesday in a decision that could hinder the Trump administration's ability to step up the removal of immigrants with criminal records. The court, in a 5-4 ruling in which President Donald Trump's conservative appointee, Neil Gorsuch, joined the 4 liberal justices, invalidated the provision in the Immigration and Nationality Act and sided with convicted California burglar James Garcia de Maya, a legal immigrant from the Philippines. The ruling, written by Justice Elena Kagan, was decried by the administration, which has defended the provision. Federal authorities had ordered de Maya deported after he was convicted in 2 California home burglaries in 2007 and 2009. Neither burglary involved violence. Kagan said ambiguity surrounding the crimes of violence provision created confusion in lower courts. Kagan wrote, "Does car burglary qualify as a violent felony? Some courts say yes, some say no." Kagan mentioned other examples, including evading arrest and trespassing, in which courts have also been divided. The court's ruling will not affect a number of serious crimes, including murder, rape, counterfeiting, or terrorism offenses, which are specifically listed in the law as grounds for deportation. That could limit its impact, though the government does not provide data on which crimes trigger the most deportations. Immigration attorneys are uncertain how many pending deportations will be affected by the ruling. Gorsuch, in a concurring opinion, wrote that the American colonies in the 18th century cited vague English laws like the crime of treason as among the reasons for the American Revolution. It was not entirely surprising that Gorsuch would break with the 4 other conservatives on the court and vote to strike down the provision. Gorsuch interpreted the immigration provisions based on the original understanding of the Constitution, a view held by many conservative jurists. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
In what medical authorities are calling one of the worst ointment complications in White Plains Hospital's history, area girlfriend Caroline Nagler was rushed to the ER this week after suffering an extreme overdose of scented lotion. With a blood lotion level of 0.45, hospital sources confirmed that Nagler had rubbed onto her body 4 times the lethal limit of shea butter, green tea cleanses, and naturally soothing mineral therapies.
Even putting aside the sheer level of lotion Miss Nagler had on her person when she arrived at the ER, this was an especially lethal combination she was using. She was mixing scented moisturizers, age-defying serums, and even some harder stuff like jojoba and essential fruit extracts. Frankly, she's lucky to be alive.
In other news, Beijing's air solidifies. A Delta Airlines counteragent assures a man he will never see his family again. And a mannequin must think he's some pretty hot. They say if you love something, let it go. But how could we possibly leave you behind after being blessed with a relationship as unique and complex as this one? For more, keep checking theonion.com.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live, and of course, you're invited here to join us toll free. You can bring up anything that you want to discuss. That is what we do here on Free Talk Live. We'll take your calls about whatever's on your mind here in studio tonight. By the way, it's Ian.
And Conan.
And Darryl.
And you can also join us on Skype. If you prefer, our Skype username there is lrn.fm. You do need to send a contact request first. We will approve it, and you'll be good to go from that point forward. Also, the Discord on-air call-in line room is available to you. You can reach out to us there, get on the air with us by going to discord.lrn.fm and joining the very first room in the Discord, which is the on-air call-in line room. Of course, lots of in the news to discuss as always. Pornhub apparently making a lot of headlines for now accepting cryptocurrency, which I guess is a big deal. This is a fairly popular website out there, and they've teamed up with Verge, which is one of the more obscure privacy coins out there. Not one of the, I would say, top market makers or anything like that. But so there's that in the news. Also, Darryl, you wanted to talk about something out of Tennessee where a KKK statue, or a statue of the founder of the KKK, is being put back or being stopped from being taken down. What's going on out there?
Headline is Tennessee retaliates for removal of Nathan Bedford Forrest statue in Memphis. And you want
Let's
me to
talk about that.
Yeah. Story from the Washington Post says a few years before Nathan Bedford Forrest became the leader of the KKK, and decades before a statue of him was dedicated in Memphis, the Confederate general overlooked Fort Pillow and planned how he would destroy the beacon for escaped slaves. Numerous assaults eroded the garrison in April 1864. When the commander declared that he would not surrender, Forrest sent waves of rebels to finish off the dwindling Union troops, many of them black. A Confederate witness said afterwards, "The sight of Negro soldiers stirred the bosoms of our soldiers with courageous madness." Forrest later said the Mississippi River was blood red for 200 yards. In 1905, a statue of Forrest on horseback was dedicated in a Memphis park 40 miles south of the site of the battle and later massacre.
So this guy wasn't just a Confederate general. He was also the founder of one of the worst hate groups in the United States.
Right, and there's debate about whether or not what he created was a hate group or whether it just became a hate group after he left.
But wasn't there just a quote about how he doesn't like Negroes or something like that there? Like, made them want to...
Right. The quote is from a witness, a Confederate witness who said, "The sight of Negro soldiers stirred the bosoms of our soldiers with courageous madness."
Meaning it made them want to kill them? Is that what that means? What is that?
Well, you're in a war, so they were wanting to kill their opposition anyway.
But because they were black.
Because they were black, it wanted to, we wanted to kill them even worse than we wanted to kill them if they were white folk.
I see. Okay, so that was a witness, not necessarily the man himself.
Right. And again, I'm not saying that Nathan Bedford Forrest was a good guy by any stretch of the imagination. Right. I'm simply saying that there's debate about whether or not the organization that he created was intended to be a racist group, because he left not long after creating the group. And that's when it really rose to prominence as what we know the Klan to be.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, obviously I don't know much about the KKK except that they've been involved in some awful things in the last 100 years in the United States.
Right.
I don't know. So it started in the 1800s then?
Just after the Civil War.
Okay.
And it was supposed to be, and again, this is based on various things that I've read, that it was supposed to just be a fraternal organization for former Confederate soldiers, and then it became a racist organization.
Right.
And again, I don't know if Forrest left before it became a racist organization, if he left because it became the racist thing.
Certainly not.
Or if he intended it to be, and just, Nathan Bedford Forrest apologists say that's not what he intended it to be. Yeah, I wasn't there. I don't know.
It's certainly not uncommon for a group that is founded by an individual to stray from its original intentions by that individual. And once you let a board take over, once people who aren't the founder are in charge of it, and that founder is then out and he's not a decision maker anymore, then it's like, good luck. Hope it stays true to your vision.
Democracy, Ian.
Well, is that democracy? I mean, that's just,
democracy is a majority of people that make decisions,
the board members
decide to do a thing.
True.
So continuing on with the article here about why we're actually talking about Nathan Bedford Forrest, on Tuesday, nearly 154 years to the day that the troops obliterated the fort, Forrest Ghost and his statue haunted the Tennessee legislature. The Republican-dominated House voted to remove $250,000 earmarked for the Memphis Bicentennial that's scheduled for next year, after the city engineered a way to remove the statue in December, along with a statue of Confederate President Jefferson Davis. The amendment was adopted in a $37.5 million spending bill that was working its way through the state's chamber for approval. Quote
So who's Jefferson Davis, and what did he do wrong?
Jefferson Davis was the president of the Confederacy, as it mentioned immediately before saying Jefferson Davis.
Thank you, Derek. Thank you.
State Rep Antonio Parkinson, who represents Memphis, told the Washington Post on Wednesday, "This is one of the most vile racist acts I've seen happen in the legislature."
Wait, what was the most racist thing? Saving the statue?
Well, withholding $250,000 from the city of Memphis's bicentennial scheduled for next year.
Okay.
I don't know how that could be considered to be a racist thing. Now, it's definitely retaliation.
So wait, is the statue gone, or is it still there?
Story says the statue was removed in December.
Okay.
So statue of Jefferson Davis and the statue of Nathan Bedford Forrest, both removed back in December. And the legislature yesterday voted to retaliate against the city.
I see.
By withholding money that they had previously earmarked for the city.
Got it. Okay, so a little smack on the hand, not that they are going to go take the old statue and put it back up.
Correct.
Okay.
We're talking about $250,000. What do you think the city council is going to do? Do you think they're going to stick to their guns, or do you think they might...
Well, now they're just going to have to, if they want to put it back, they're going to have to spend more money to put it back, right? Like you have to hire a crew or whatever of statue removers.
Cheap. And then even if they do put it back, there's no guarantee that the legislature would then say, all right, you get the $250,000.
No.
Well, if they're specifically withholding the $250 because of this, then why wouldn't they?
They'll spend it somewhere else.
Well, see, we've removed the earmark.
Right.
That doesn't mean that we're still setting aside the money because we removed the earmark.
Well, I think this is more ammunition for my belief that all the statues just need to get taken down. I mean, let's just be fair about it.
On public property.
Yes. All statues on public property. Thank you for the clarification. On public property, on government property, take them all down. I don't care if they are the Confederates, if they are the Union soldiers, or whoever it is we're talking about, former presidents, whatever statues there are on public property.
And
what about the Statue of Liberty?
And Christmas trees. So if you can't have your nativity because there's a Christmas tree in your way, and you can't have your Wiccan or whatever you believe in, because the Christmas tree is taking up all that room. Well, how is that fair?
Darryl, you asked a really good question, though. What about the Statue of Liberty?
That's technically government property. It is
That'd be a
national
tough one
park.
to take down, too, wouldn't it?
It would, and one of the interesting things about the vast majority of these statues, including the Statue of Liberty, they were gifts from various organizations. The Statue of Liberty being a gift to the United States government from the French government.
By the way, the Nathan Bedford statue was a gift.
Right.
It was through private donations.
Right. Probably the Daughters of the Confederacy. I'm guessing this article doesn't specifically mention who made the donation, but I know that most of the statues, hell, that glorifying war statue in downtown Keene was donated by some organization.
Really?
There's a little plaque saying who it was.
Well, they can have it back, as far as I'm concerned. Toll-free number here, 855-450-FREE like freedom. I'm sick and tired of seeing all these war statues around.
Yeah.
855-450-3733. If you like a statue, put it up in your front yard or at your business or on your property.
Or a museum.
There's more coming up here. This is Free Talk Live. We'll talk about dicks.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful, full-featured wallet that allows you to send and receive Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core with anyone, anywhere in the world. It supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available on Windows, Linux, Mac, Android, and iOS devices. Learn more at wallet.bitcoin.com.
From the first letter of Captain Mark. History is full of flowery documents claiming to limit the power of the crown, but these poetic social contracts have been impotent to prevent the predation. Limited government is a lie they use to keep us submissive. The crown cannot be trusted to abide by its founding charters, nor its treaties, nor even its own rules. The essence of the crown is centralized violence, and I've had enough. That's why I raised my black banner. I am no revolutionary. My aim is not to reset the cycle of violence, but to break it. My aim is an evolved society, invisible to the crown, not a new hierarchy, but decentralized networks with no central figure for the crown to target. If you want your servile life, keep it, but we will submit to the crown's agenda. And when you are ready to stop being its beast of burden, ready for adventure and opportunity, join us at pirateswithoutborders.com.
Free Press Publications is an independent, alternative media and publishing company founded in June 2009 with the mission of ensuring a free press for the freedom movement and is committed to spreading the message of peace, freedom, love, and liberty. FPP also gives new authors an avenue for publishing freedom-oriented material. FPP brings you daily news and commentary on the website fpp.cc, as well as a daily 5-minute newscast, FPP Radio News, and weekly news, views, and commentary in the FPP Freedom Minute and Peace, Love, Liberty Radio at fppradio.com, and the monthly newspaper FPP News at news.fpp.cc. Find FPP online at fpp.cc. That's fpp.cc, as in Creative Commons.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveitpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveitpurse.com.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You're invited, if you want, to join us on the radio here. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom, 855-450-3733. Skype username is LRN.FM. Here in the studio with you tonight, it's Ian.
And Conan.
And Darryl.
You know, if you are interested in learning about Bitcoin, if you're new to the world of cryptocurrency, get started over at bitcoin.com. There's really no better place to learn the history, to learn the importance, why Bitcoin is a paradigm shift in the way we think about money and the way we use money. Go to bitcoin.com and you can get started there. Great place to do that. Also, bitcoin.com has other features that you might be interested in. If you're more of an old school Bitcoiner, you want to get the latest news headlines, just go to news.bitcoin.com and you can do that there. And it's totally free. So once again, that's news.bitcoin.com for the latest news headlines about Bitcoin from around the globe. As we continue here, we'll take your calls and thoughts. An update coming up here on Bill Cosby and the retrial, where he's being retried for sexual assault charges. And then I said we were going to talk about Dick's Sporting Goods. They are doing what is just an absolutely ridiculous thing here with their guns that they're no longer going to be selling at Dick's Sporting Goods.
Are they giving them away?
Nope. It's pretty ridiculous, but we'll get into that coming up here in moments. First, we go to Bad Slave. He's in New Hampshire on via Skype. Go ahead, Bad Slave.
Thank you for taking my call.
Yes,
I am perfectly happy to speak with you. The idea of memorials to war, particularly when it is my considered opinion, I've done a lot of historical study for the past, 3 or 4 decades. And the truth is that the U.S. should have never gotten into any war since they kicked the Brits out.
Yep, that's pretty much true.
Which time, in 1776 or 1812? Because they were both kind of wars against Britain.
That's true. And less so for 1812 than.
We are losing you, Bad Slave. I don't know if you are on a bad Wi-Fi connection, but we're definitely losing you. It sounds like you might be back now. Go ahead there. What were you saying?
Okay. I was just saying that I think the important one was, of course, the War of Secession. But what the War of 1812, I that one I haven't studied as well, so I'm not going to make any claims. But I'm pretty certain that there shouldn't have been a Shea rebellion, against taxes. I think that people should not pay taxes. But the thing is that all of this honoring of war is just so that the powers can be, all they have to do is snap their fingers and throw a few lies out, and we're back in a war. I mean, that's where we are right now. It's crazy. And for everybody to, we got to honor our vets. I'm sorry. There's not a vet alive that has really performed the protection of liberty. It just hasn't happened.
Not in our lifetime.
No, heck no. Not in a couple of friggin' centuries, really. And so I'm really tired of it. I'm just, every time, and I think, Ian, you're definitely, we're on the same page on this one, right? It's just completely, we're upside down.
Well, we actually have a military veteran in the studio with us here. Conan, I mean, your thoughts as somebody who was in the military.
I was a mercenary. I was doing it for the college.
Is that right?
A lot of my family members are in the military, so I mean, it was already,
the natural
I was
thing.
brought up in it, and it was just the natural thing to do. And I was a young, dumb 16-year-old, and it's like, well, what am I going to do with myself? 4 years of military, that'll
solves everything.
That'll keep me busy. But no, and a lot of a lot of my cohorts were in the same boat. They were doing exactly what I was doing. They didn't have anything better to do. It's a good paycheck. You got someone telling you what to do.
Don't have to pay rent.
Yeah, exactly. Right? I made good money, by the way. Yep. A lot of people complain about how they don't. But I am very, very glad that I got out when I did, because I missed all of the 2 decades of war we've been in, just by the skin of my teeth. But
they first run you through the local indoctrination center and dumb you down to the point where you don't know what's even up anymore, and then you get out into the world and graduate high school and what am I going to do with myself? Oh, well, there's this military thing. You're dumb, you're an idiot, let's go ahead and sign up.
And all the while, they've been telling you how much the police and the firefighters and the military are our heroes, and they've been dying all these years for our freedom and our democracy. And
they're what I like to term destructo bots. They are automated men who claim to be doing something beneficial, but they're just an automation of human beings destroying things.
Well, very few people would join the military if they thought they would be doing something evil, right? Like, they buy into the propaganda that they're fighting for freedom, even though it's pretty obvious that politicians don't really care about freedom and that they're scum.
No.
But, that's who you're fighting for, military people. You're not fighting for me. You're not fighting for the people in the United States. You're fighting for the government. You're fighting for the politicians.
You're fighting for rich men.
Yeah, exactly.
Rich old men. And if you really want to see
who have no skin in the game,
how damaging this is on the folks, all you have to do is look at the suicide rate of military veterans.
More suicides than actual deaths over in the Middle East.
Yeah, it's horrible.
Hey, thanks for the call, Bad Slave. I appreciate it.
It really does leave a horrible, lasting impact on our frail mentality. Taking another life,
I can only
going
imagine.
over there and destroying other people's lives, and then coming back to what you think is going to be a real life, and realizing what you've done and all the havoc you've caused.
Yeah, you can't just leave that
and
over there.
That's what I'm saying. I'm so glad that I missed all of that.
And, I like looking at sort of the historical evolution of war. if you will, to where...
Can you say that? Evolution of war? Does war evolve?
There is.
Still just killing.
Well, it first started to where you had rival kings or princes or, just rulers of some sort that would fight one another on a field. And then it evolved to where the king and his army would fight another king and his army.
On a field.
Yeah. A specific area.
Right.
And then you remove the kings, and it was the armies fighting in a specific area. And now you just have, these planes flying over areas and dropping bombs.
I don't know if that's evolution. That sounds like it's devolving, that you're getting more innocents involved in the conflicts over time. I mean, it's certainly helping protect the kings, but that's about it.
Well, it's not evolution in the sense of we went from one animal to a more intelligent species.
Well, right. Generally,
it's the evolution of here's how it progressed.
I see.
Progression is better.
Even though progress still suggests progress.
Regression.
Yeah. More coming up here in moments. This is Free Talk Live.
This is Dan Pilla. Do you owe the IRS money you can't pay? Are tax debts crippling you? I've defended people from the IRS for over 30 years. I've helped thousands, and I can help you too. I wrote the book on IRS settlement, and I'm telling you, there's no such thing as a hopeless case. Call 800-34-NO-TAX to finally get free of IRS debt. With the IRS's new programs, there's never been a better time to solve your problem. Call 800-34-NO-TAX. That's 800-34-NO-TAX, or my website, danpilla.com.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of slingbow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com. The Free State Project has reached its goal of 20,000 liberty lovers who've pledged to move to New Hampshire and get active to achieve liberty in our lifetime. Perhaps you're trying to figure out what part of New Hampshire should be your destination. If so, consider Keene. You'll find more than 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com. Keene is famous for its historic, publicity-generating activism, as well as being the liberty media capital of the world. It's home to freekeene.com, New Hampshire's destination for liberty activism, news, and opinion. For years, we've been compiling over 150 reasons to move to Keene at move.freekeene.com, where you'll learn about some of what's happening here and what makes Keene a great place to live. If you love liberty, you'll probably enjoy anywhere you end up in the Shire. But do your due diligence first. Please visit move.freekeene.com for the full list of over 150 reasons to move to Keene. That's move.freekeene.com.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You can dial toll-free here and bring up anything that you want. Our number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Also, Skype in if you like. Skype username is lrn.fm. You can join us on the Discord on-air call-in line room, where we had a few calls last night. And it always sounds so much better than pretty much everything else. So if you want to get on the Discord, go to discord.lrn.fm. Darryl, you were just informing us during the break, I think it's worth talking about on the air, of the sad passing of, I think, a lot of people's favorite kind of character actors out there. Ermey passed away this week. For those that don't recall the name, who is he?
Well, he's the drill sergeant in Full Metal Jacket.
That's the most probably memorable role, I think, for a lot of people.
And he also did a little gun show on History Channel or the whatever channel a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I think it was History. And one thing that most people don't know about Ermey is he worked in sort of a behind-the-scenes role in basically every war movie over the last 25, 30 years.
Like an advisor capacity?
Yeah.
And we were talking in the last segment how people get sucked into this into war. And as much as we really like this guy, he was a fantastic actor.
Sure.
He's part of the problem.
He's probably part of the reason why people...
He really made it look... I mean, even though I'm not spoiling the movie or anything, go watch Full Metal Jacket.
It's supposed to be an anti-war movie.
It is an anti-war movie,
yes.
and Ermey doesn't end well. His character doesn't.
No.
He doesn't make it to
halfway.
Act 2, if you will.
But he still made it so memorable. People, hear Darryl over here quoting the lines that, from 35 years ago, because they're just so entertaining. Yeah,
I've actually only seen that movie one time, and it was, I don't know, probably like a decade ago. But it was, it was pretty good. He was actually also a voice actor as well. He was the soldier in Toy Story. So if you remember the little toy soldier character that they had there, that was Ermey in that. And he actually was in one of my favorite old video games from the early 1990s, back when they had what they called full motion video games. He was in a game called Double Switch, and he was a main character in that particular game, and that's kind of where I got to.
Yeah, I would imagine he's got that voice. I would imagine he voiced a lot of.
And that it was really him. It was like video
little cameos and little spoofs like that all over.
And he's been, he was active right up till the end, because one of the things I asked you when you said it was Ermey passed away was, well, how old was he? He was only 74.
Yeah,
because. I mean, in the early 1990s, when he was in this video game, he looked like an old guy. That would have been 30 years ago.
Yeah.
25 years ago.
He's like the opposite of Patrick Stewart, who has always looked. He's always looked old as well.
Mm-hmm.
Even I guess being bald will do that to you.
So anyway, rest in peace there, Ermey. We've had definitely some talented actors. I was watching the television. I was actually out at one of the cryptocurrency accepting places here in town in Keene, having some dinner tonight before the show, and they had the television on, which I almost never see television because I just don't, I've never had cable television as an adult ever since I moved out of my parents' house.
We cut the cord. The oldsters are talking about cutting the cord and how great it is, and it's like,
I never had it.
We never had the cord. It was non-existent.
But they were reporting on Barbara Bush, who passed away this week.
Oh, you mean Aleister Crowley's granddaughter?
Is she really Aleister Crowley's?
It's out there. It's very interesting.
Okay. Aleister Crowley, of course, what was he, the founder of like the Illuminati or something like that?
No. Church of Satan.
Yep.
Oh, really? Huh.
Let me see if I can look that up and find some more information on
that.
But
it was, it's tough to watch that kind of stuff, not because she's dead or whatever, but because you have to watch all of this like hero worship surrounding her, like, oh, she was the leader of the free world, and everyone looked up to her, and here we are live in Kennebunkport, Maine, where she spent a lot of her time, and we talked to so many people. They all said they would be in mourning, and they were so sad that they would never see Barbara Bush around town again, and everybody is just so upset over this. I'm like, she was the wife of one of the top thugs in the world. Right. This is part of what is going to be tough to get over. You were talking about the worship for the military. This is the same aspect, except it's the worship of the people who command the military.
Right.
The worship of presidents and their wives and their families as though they are better than everybody else. They get better burials, better funerals.
They get to lay in state in the rotunda of the Capitol.
Yeah, and then, of course, all the other presidents who are still alive always come out. So, even though they're supposed to be enemies, right, like Barack Obama versus George W. Bush versus
Jesse
Bill Clinton.
Ventura said, wrestling and politics are very much the same, to where you portray being enemies in front of the camera. After the show, you're having a beer together.
This is true.
The difference, of course, being that wrestling is entertaining and politics is terrifying.
Correct. Well, I would guess that some people, as much as they spend their time reading the newspaper and watching these programs and getting into it, you think that it is some kind of entertainment to them, that they're feeding off of it.
Yeah, for them. The news junkies.
They hate,
right?
but they're hate watchers. So they might not like what they're seeing, but they just can't get enough of it. They're always glued to it.
Well, they love it when their team wins.
Correct.
Right? When their guy gets elected, then it is a lot like sports in that way. Where it's the go team mentality. They don't even know what their team really stands for, but they know they like what that one guy said on that one team that one year, and so therefore go team.
Right, and in a lot of ways, it's kind of like and to bring it back around to wrestling, if your favorite wrestler is a bad guy, you're going to look the other way when he winds up cheating, when he makes a low blow, when he skirts the rules.
They don't cheer them on when they do that stuff.
I think
if you like the bad guy.
They cheer him on.
Don't you want to see him be bad?
I think there are more fans of Darth Vader than there are Luke. I'm sorry. So for whatever reason, the bad guy he can be just as much a hero.
Right.
When it comes to entertainment, and I think we're going back to politics being entertainment. I think a lot of people see Trump. And when he's acting all crazy and throwing people under the bus,
right? But
they're
people
cheering him on.
Team, I forget if the Republicans are red or blue, but the team elephant, they're just going to make excuses for all of the horrible things that one of their guys does. Mm-hmm. But when somebody from Team Donkey does it, they're going to point, see, he did this thing. Just sort of like, again, in wrestling, where if it's your favorite wrestler, you'll make excuses for that low blow. Mm-hmm. But somebody does a low blow to him. Oh, well, he just cheated. You can't make a low blow.
I see what you're saying.
The ref wasn't looking, so it's okay.
That said, if I'm cheering on the bad guy, I'm cheering them on because they're the bad guy, right? You want to see them do bad things. Remember the the Rogue One, that sort of midpoint or that prequel Star Wars movie?
By the way, the best Star Wars episode ever.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if that's the best one ever, but I'm sure there's some
subjective.
controversy over that.
Because it didn't follow the whole beaten. It didn't follow the formula.
That's true.
Right. So some people liked it because of that. Some people didn't like it because of that. And then I heard that the next one was too much like A New Hope or Revenge of the
one prior to that.
Something.
Anyways, you're saying that at the halfway mark it changed gears?
No. What I was going to say was about cheering on the bad guy. The big part that really seemed to get a lot of the reaction in that movie was toward the very end, and I don't think I'm spoiling anything because this movie, the Rogue One, ends at the very beginning of the first Star Wars from 1977. Right. So we all know what happens there, right? Darth Vader's going on that ship. He's after Princess Leia. And so at the very end of Rogue One, Darth Vader, it shows his entrance onto that ship, and he is just effing people up, man, left and like he's using the Force and just throwing guys left and right, and it's like really an awesome, really sort of visceral
Do they
scene.
play the Imperial March?
Probably. I don't remember.
I think they did, actually.
It was an epic scene. I mean, it was really worth waiting through the whole movie to actually see that, even though you know what's going to happen the way it was shot.
And then it ends really on a CGI'd up Leia.
The CGI in that movie was pretty good. I was watching it with my now ex-girlfriend at the time, who had never seen a Star Wars movie before, and so she didn't know that Grand Moff Tarkin was a dead guy. the guy who was one of the main characters in Rogue One, who was a real-life actor in 1977, passed away at some point, and they created his character.
They brought a couple characters
Brought him back from the dead, and she had no idea it was a CGI character. Had no idea. Toll-free number here, 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. I knew he was fake, but it was still pretty persuasive to watch him. It was easy enough to suspend disbelief in that case. There's more coming up here, whether you want to talk about pop culture or whatever. Also, Dick's Sporting Goods. We'll tell you what ridiculous thing they're doing.
I've said it many times on air, and I'll say it here. The New Hampshire Liberty Alliance is one of the most important organizations for freedom in the world. New Hampshire is ground zero for freedom, and the NHLA is the best organization at promoting effective liberty activism. This ad is sponsored by Free Talk Live, and I, Mark Edge, am a lifetime member because I believe in the NHLA. Please check them out at nhliberty.org. Not everyone can move right now, but you can support the cause. Donate top cryptocurrencies or old-fashioned U.S. dollars, nhliberty.org. Visit their website and see what they're all about, nhliberty.org.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful, full-featured wallet that allows you to send and receive Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core with anyone, anywhere in the world. It supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. Use the Bitcoin.com wallet to buy, send, store, and receive both Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core. Learn more at wallet.bitcoin.com.
It's about time something new came along for better selling and buying online. And I found it.
What now, Marge?
It's buysellmakeoffer.com.
Never heard of it.
It's a brand new company. That's why you've never heard of it. It's the newest and best way to sell any products online. I did all the research.
Sell my car?
Yes.
Our home?
Yep.
My golf bag?
Your golf clubs. All of them.
How about your purse collection hoard?
Hey, now.
You said any product.
Right. I did. We get 30 days free.
Really?
Packages starting from only $9.95. And buysellmakeoffer.com will never charge item fees, ever. Never. And this is cool. Listen to this. You can even use Skype or video to show your items.
That's cool.
Yes. All we have to do is go to the website, sign up, and then load our stuff to sell. I love this site.
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. You got it?
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. Better selling, better buying.
This is Michael Dean from the Freedom Fiends. I've run websites since 1996 and have used over a dozen web hosts in that time. AgristHosting.com is the only one that hasn't broken my heart. Agrist Hosting's uptime and service is stellar, and their DDoS mitigation is the best I've seen. That's important because if you tell the truth in this world, you'll ruffle feathers. And some people will try dirty tricks to silence your voice. No matter what the haters hit us with, Agrist Hosting keeps our websites online. If you have a mission-critical commercial presence or a world-changing activism site, you cannot tolerate any skullduggery. So go with agristhosting.com. Have a WordPress or blog site, but you're not satisfied with performance or uptime? Or just want raw hosting? Want to pay with Bitcoin? Agrist Hosting specializes in high-performance hosting with personalized service. Go to agristhosting.com and click on the button that says Get Hosted. That's agristhosting.com.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless, free market, non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
This This is Free Talk Live. You may dial toll-free here. Our number 855-450-FREE like freedom, 855-450-3733. You can, of course, bring up anything that is on your mind. Joining you here tonight, you've got Ian.
And Conan.
And Darryl.
Freedom's Phoenix is a liberty-oriented news aggregation site. If you want the newest and freshest stories and perspective on current events from those who value liberty, then freedomsphoenix.com has it. Their daily dispatch is the best way to stay up to date on science, technology, historical findings, liberty news, government overspending, and the rise of the police state. It's freedoms with an S, phoenix.com. That's freedomsphoenix.com. As we continue, we'll take your calls and thoughts about what you want. On the way here, the latest on the Bill Cosby retrials. We haven't really talked about what's been going on with that since the very first day of jury selection, where a topless protester attempted to run up and do something to Bill Cosby. She was interceded by various different police who arrested her. And that's what we discussed in the past, but we'll get to the latest on what's going on here in moments. First, though, to the Discord on-air call-in line room, where Gene the Christian Anarchist is on the line with us. Go ahead.
Hello, guys.
Hey,
I
Gene.
thought I'd weigh in on the statue here in Memphis, since I live in the outskirts of Memphis.
Oh, all right. This is about the founder of the KKK and a statue controversy where it apparently has already been taken down. But now the state of Tennessee, according to Darryl, has struck back against the town or the city that took it down there, Memphis.
Well, there's some things that probably aren't coming out in that story, and I'm not really a racist kind of a guy, but I'm living here in the South, and I'm not going to make a lot of people happy because I see racism problems on both sides of the aisle, and I see as many blacks fueling the fire as there are whites. So,
well, nobody's impervious to racism. I mean, there's racism across all people.
But this whole thing with the statues, again, I think it's silly to go tearing down statues. Reminds me of the Cultural Revolution in China and the.
What if I want to pay
ISIS.
for it? What if I want to donate to take down a statue? Because I'm willing to.
Sure. That's fine, sure, as long as you're not destroying property that other people have a claim to. Now, what they're not telling you about this Nathan Bedford statue is it's not just a statue. It's a headstone for his grave. His grave is still there in that park. That's why it's named after him. He's buried there, and the statue was his headstone. So not only have they taken down historical property, which was against Tennessee law, because the Tennessee government did pass a law saying that these places are preserved. And then the city council in Memphis, which was predominantly black, decided to sell this park, which they didn't have the proper authority to do so, to a sham organization, also by predominantly black. Well, I think it's 100% black.
The nonprofit was Memphis Green Space, and the article says that they sold two parks that contained the two statues. Sold the parks for $1,000 each, which is probably back in December, and then after the parks were sold, the statues were removed.
Oh, that's an interesting detail.
Right, yeah. Yes. There's a lengthy article here, and we only covered just what the retaliation was. We didn't cover the backstory.
The statue was removed in like 24 hours. I mean, they did this basically in the dark of night. It was all, it was a dirty shenanigan is what it was. And like I say, it was a gravestone.
Wait. So you're saying it's a headstone, but is his body under there as well, or is he somewhere else?
Yes.
Did they move move his body?
So they didn't dig up the grave, did they? No.
They're talking about moving his grave as well, but they just ripped his headstone off, basically, and so they're defacing graves and moving statues that really had been donated by friends and family or whatever, and they're still family members that are part of the group that go down there and take care of them.
Where did these statues wind up going? Because I'm guessing they didn't take it to the metal scrapyard and sell it for recycling.
This is another very prickly point, because the statues they claim is in storage somewhere, but nobody knows where. They're not disclosing the location, and they've been instructed to take good care of the statue. Well, we don't know if they're taking good care of it, or chopping it into pieces, or letting
or selling it to an art dealer.
Yeah,
Sure.
we don't.
No.
They don't know.
Tell me
They're
more about
not-
this
they're not
$1,000
disclosing
deal.
it.
So you said the city sold the park to this group for $1,000.
Well, I don't even think the city can sell the park because they don't have.
Is it
I
a
don't
state
think they have
park?
title to. Well, I think what they sold them was the rights to the park rather than the physical park. I'm not sure on those details, but at any rate, it was against the state law.
Was it
that
like one of those
passed.
sweetheart deals where they just sold it without putting it out to bid? Like we're just going to give you this price.
Absolutely. Yeah,
I see.
This was an.
See, that part I
24
disagree
hour-
with. I think that if you're going to sell public property, you need to put it out to the highest bidder. Because I do support the idea of ending public property, ending government-run property, and turning it all over to private hands. But the best way to do that is to just put it up for the highest bidder. That way, the government can take that money and do other things with it at that point.
Right,
It's a
and
legitimate sale.
The article here from the Washington Post says that the city skirted laws meant to block the removal of statues and memorials on public grounds by selling the parks to a nonprofit, and then the nonprofit removed the statue, and the nonprofit is not prohibited from removing.
That seems legitimate to me. Like, that's a legitimate workaround, except for the fact that they didn't take bids. If they'd taken bids, then it would have been legit.
They could have got Walmart to bid on that little piece of property because they want to set up shop right there in the middle of downtown.
I don't know how big this square is, but
But of course that's why your city is never going to auction off pieces of real estate, Ian, because they are afraid of who would buy it.
Right.
If it's some nonprofit that basically are in their pocket and they know it's going to leave it as green space or whatever, or take down statues, then they're cool with it. But they don't want the big boys getting their hands on that prime real estate.
Right. Unless and until we can finally get enough Liberty people elected to government, like here in New Hampshire, where we could actually see some sort of principled sell-off of all this government land. I think you did this study, Darryl, where you found that 10% of the square area in Keene, New Hampshire, where we live, where we do this show from, is owned by the city.
And that's not even counting the roads, because the roads are made from right-of-ways.
Right.
But, like actual plots of land.
Right,
10% of it.
Buildings.
Buildings and land.
They are renting and leasing out buildings
some of
downtown.
So where Corner News is, which we've talked about Corner News on this show before.
It was the first
corner store,
first little shop to take cryptocurrency here in Keene.
The owner of that business owns the building, but does not own the land. The city owns the land that the building sits on.
It's crazy. Gene, any other comments tonight?
Well, I just wanted to point out that a lot of the black people are stirring up, and sure, black people have been getting a raw deal for a long time. I stand up for black people all the time. Those guys at Starbucks, they got a raw deal. But when black people try to be belligerent in return, it doesn't help the situation, and it really kind of causes the white folk that didn't like them to begin with to rally around the injustice that they're getting back.
Well, I think it's not fair to talk about black people, white people, this and that. I mean, these are individuals that we're talking about. So some people are going to be in favor of it. Some people are not going to be in favor of it. Whatever the issue happens to be. So it's never fair to do that.
It's still a black and white issue. You've got the green space was all black people. The city government was pretty much 90% all black people. So it was obviously a black people thing that they did.
I can understand why somebody wouldn't want a statue around of the formative leader of the KKK. I could totally understand that.
Yeah, I mean, sure, if you have a legal claim to it, that's one thing. But to take some guy's headstone away and then hide it somewhere where nobody knows where it is.
Like, I'd never heard of the dude before today, but the people living in Memphis who, they had families back then in that area, they probably didn't forget.
It was a very famous area. In fact, I wanted to go down there and get some pictures because I knew they were eventually going to tear it down. But
Gene,
I didn't
thanks for the call tonight. I appreciate it.
I am completely all right with this statue being removed.
Yeah.
I think the shenanigans that took place to get it done is very weaselly.
Sure.
But hiding, they say it's in storage, but I mean the issue is here. The statue needs to be returned to the rightful owners, but the statue shouldn't be there. I'm sorry.
The rightful owners are the people that own the property now.
And I think nothing, like you said earlier, nothing should be there.
This is a libertarian win,
Sell
right?
it.
I mean, you sold off some public property to a private owner, even
Well,
though
it's not. It's a nonprofit.
Well, it's still not the government, though, right?
They're in their pockets.
There's more coming up here in moments. 8:55, 450, free like freedom. If you want to join us here, it's Free Talk Live.
I tried other brands, but I came back to My Sunshine.
For the best hot or cold pain relief, get the best. Get a Sunny Bay heating pad.
Sometimes life can be a pain in the neck or back or shoulder.
And the best relief for that pain is a Sunny Bay heating pad. Did you know that the American College of Physicians said that one of the best ways to treat muscle pain is heat therapy? Sunny Bay heating pads are handmade with high quality, can be used at home or at work, and have a lifetime 100% positive rating on both Amazon and Etsy.
Why take another pill?
Many people use our Sunny Bay heating pads alone and got rid of the neck pain.
Long distance travel or long hours in front of a computer can take its toll on your body.
See why our homegrown small business at sunny-bay.com has tried to help people just like you. Get your Sunny Bay heating pads at sunny-bay.com. That's sunny-bay.com or call 253-678-1361 for hot and cold therapy. sunny-bay.com.
In Survivor Max 2, School Bites, Max must scavenge through a wasteland swarming with the undead. Desperate to find the medicine he needs, he discovers a community of survivors at his former school. Has he finally found the safe haven he's been looking for, or will he discover that school bites? Look for Survivor Max on Facebook, read reviews on Amazon, and read Chapter 1 at survivormax.com.
The three most important things you can do for Free Talk Live are: 1, share one episode a week on Facebook or in some other social networking site. 2, buy the things you buy online through shop.freetalklive.com. 3, give $5 a month to the AMP program. It's my firm belief that Free Talk Live's AMP program is the best use of your charitable dollar among liberty-oriented organizations. Support all the organizations you love, but make sure you give $5 a month to AMP at amp.freetalklive.com.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Wednesday, April 18th, 2018. Silver is trading at $17.13 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,353 per ounce. Zen Cash is trading at $33, and the average price of Bitcoin is $8,096. Antiwar.com reports a group of senators are proposing a new authorization for the use of military force to replace the existing one. This would clarify that force is authorized against the various militant groups, including the Islamic State, Al-Qaeda, and the Taliban, but would not authorize any attacks on any nations, including Syria. This is seen as an effort to make it more clear what Congress intends to authorize, as the 2001 AUMF has been used by all subsequent presidents as a virtual catch-all for launching new wars without a congressional debate. The new authorization for use of military force is backed by senators from both parties, including Senators Bob Corker and Tim Kaine. The new AUMF does not try to set an end date for war, but would seek a congressional review every 4 years. This, too, is something novel, as the past AUMFs have been treated as essentially permanent war against various factions. Previous suggestions of a revised AUMF have tended to be opposed by presidents who see them as necessarily limiting their power. The Trump administration has long expressed opposition to an authorization for use of military force with any limits. The Obama administration felt much the same, initially bragging their proposed AUMF was even vaguer than the first one. When Congress tried to revise this, the administration quickly turned on the proposal as a threat to national security. Whether you're looking for precious metals, bitcoins, or books, you'll find that and more at shop.fppradio.com. Every purchase you make from one of my affiliates at shop.fppradio.com helps fund FPP Radio. That's shop.fppradio.com. UPI reports Sun Country Airlines canceled its last flights out of Mexico due to weather and told U.S. passengers with a return ticket they'd have to find another way home. The Minneapolis Star-Tribune reported the airline said the canceled flights were the last of the season and added it did not have another flight to reaccommodate passengers. Sun Country offered passengers a refund for their return portion of the flight, but said they would be responsible for finding a return ticket through another airline. Kelly Dodson-Smith, the airline's vice president of marketing, told the Star-Tribune the company could not send another plane because doing so would cause more scheduling problems. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. Reuters reports a U.S. law requiring the deportation of immigrants convicted of certain crimes of violence is unconstitutionally vague, according to the U.S. Supreme Court ruling on Tuesday in a decision that could hinder the Trump administration's ability to step up the removal of immigrants with criminal records. The court, in a 5-4 ruling in which President Donald Trump's conservative appointee, Neil Gorsuch, joined the 4 liberal justices, invalidated the provision in the Immigration and Nationality Act and sided with convicted California burglar James Garcia de Maya, a legal immigrant from the Philippines. The ruling, written by Justice Elena Kagan, was decried by the administration, which has defended the provision. Federal authorities had ordered de Maya deported after he was convicted in 2 California home burglaries in 2007 and 2009. Neither burglary involved violence. Kagan said ambiguity surrounding the crimes of violence provision created confusion in lower courts. Kagan wrote, "Does car burglary qualify as a violent felony? Some courts say yes, some say no." Kagan mentioned other examples, including evading arrest and trespassing, in which courts have also been divided. The court's ruling will not affect a number of serious crimes, including murder, rape, counterfeiting, or terrorism offenses, which are specifically listed in the law as grounds for deportation. That could limit its impact, though the government does not provide data on which crimes trigger the most deportations. Immigration attorneys are uncertain how many pending deportations will be affected by the ruling. Gorsuch, in a concurring opinion, wrote that the American colonies in the 18th century cited vague English laws like the crime of treason as among the reasons for the American Revolution. It was not entirely surprising that Gorsuch would break with the 4 other conservatives on the court and vote to strike down the provision. Gorsuch interpreted the immigration provisions based on the original understanding of the Constitution, a view held by many conservative jurists. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
Following reports earlier today that Indiana University freshman Lawrence Plotnick's roommate Brian Tabor has found an excuse to go home every weekend since August, Plotnick spoke to Onion reporters about his roommate's frequent trips to his nearby hometown of Terre Haute, Indiana.
Every week since we got here, it seems like every time I ask him if he wants to hang out on Friday, he has some wedding or birthday party or something. In fact, I'm pretty sure he hasn't spent a single Friday or Saturday night on campus in the past 6 months.
Plotnick went on to cite a variety of far-ranging excuses used by his roommate to justify his constant visits home, including various family functions, a visiting friend from China, as well as his occasional desire to, quote, just hang out at home for a couple of days.
I mean, I suppose I vaguely understood when he had to go back in November because his best friend's grandfather died, but last weekend he had to go back for his aunt and uncle's wedding anniversary. He said he couldn't miss it.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live. Dial toll free here and bring up anything that you want. Our number is 855-450, free like freedom. We're launching into the second hour of the program. With you in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
And Conan.
And Darryl.
855-450-3733. Skype username is lrn.fm. The Discord on-air call-in line room is there for you, too, over at discord.lrn.fm. Let's go right back to your calls and thoughts. And then coming up, we'll tell you about the latest on the Bill Cosby retrial, the sexual assault retrial. Again, the first time around, it was a hung jury. We'll give you the latest on what's happening there. And then also an absolutely ridiculous story about Dick's Sporting Goods and guns, what they're going to be doing with them. Bo Diddley, although, is on the line here, somebody calling themselves that. Calling from South Carolina, you're on Free Talk Live. Hello, Bo. Bo Diddley? Are you there? Going once. Bo Diddley, going twice. We'll see if he's got maybe a better cell or something like that. Put him back on hold. Meanwhile, we go to Skype, where Dave Ridley is on the line, listening in New Hampshire. Hello, Dave.
Hi. I think it was Mark who asked me to call in if I had any updates on this Ed and Elaine Brown news.
What is the news with Ed and Elaine Brown? For listeners who aren't familiar with the names, this is an older couple. They're probably getting up in their 80s or early 80s maybe now, that a decade ago, or just over a decade ago, was arrested by the federal government in what was a very long standoff. I think maybe 6 to 9 months standoff at their house in Plainfield, New Hampshire, where I believe, Dave, you and I both went to visit during the standoff to meet the Browns. These people were accused of not paying income tax, and they made a stand. They did not fight against the government. They just simply threatened them, and ultimately, of course, got taken down.
Was it income tax or property tax?
It was income tax.
All right.
To my knowledge, and ultimately the government took the property, of course, and then they sat on it for years. And then the federal government had a tough time trying to sell the place because nobody wants to buy a house that could have mines, landmines, or other booby traps that might be set about the property.
Right, and nobody really knows if those are there, but the feds have said we think there might be.
Yeah, it's buy it as is, and then you figure it out.
Did this couple threaten that they would booby trap the place?
There were people there who threatened various different things over time. I couldn't tell you exactly what the threats were from Ed Brown. I mean, he did not want to go to prison, obviously, and he was pretty loud about his opposition to the federal government. So it wouldn't surprise me if Ed Brown had made some sort of more specific threat, but we're talking about 12 years ago now, so I don't recall exactly. But anyway, what's the latest on what's going on with them, Dave? Because they're in prison.
One of the people who was active in raising concerns about their treatment at the beginning, in 2007, was Keith Champagne. He lived in, I guess, New Jersey or Connecticut, if I recall, at the time. He's since moved to New Hampshire and become a free stater, I believe. But he was always kind of a credible and soft-spoken, level-headed seeming activist, and I haven't had a lot of contact with him recently, but he sent me a note a few days ago saying that there was an indication that a federal case called the DiMaia case could result in Ed and Elaine being freed. He emailed me today, I guess, or maybe yesterday, to say that the DiMaia case was just successful against the feds.
And what is this case? Do you have a summary of what it's about?
My understanding from Googling it was that it wasn't getting much attention at all, and it was some sort of an immigration-related case. But the way Keith Champagne describes it, it seems like it would have implications in terms of like some people getting sentences that were beyond the maximum, which certainly should be there could be a possibility with all of the Brown arrestees that are still in prison. Easily, all of them could have been sentenced to more than the maximum, for all I know. I mean, they were sentenced to so much.
Yeah, the DiMaia case is about immigrants that are in the country legally and possible deportations. So I don't know how this would wind up applying to Ed and Elaine Brown, who are not immigrants, to the best of my knowledge.
Right. I couldn't figure that out either. But Keith believes... He believed a few days ago that there was a chance they could get out, and now he says, quote, they are definitely coming home, unquote.
Well, I appreciate the optimism. I guess I would like to know more about his analysis and, why he feels like they're going to be coming home, because, I mean, that'd be great news. I mean, nobody really wants to, can't imagine anybody wants to see people perish in a jail cell and die because they didn't pay some arbitrary extraction by the king.
Right. They didn't hurt anybody.
They certainly didn't. The only people who hurt people were the federal government agents.
They hurt my roads, Ian.
Who came down there and attacked people and arrested them and then put them into prison cells for, again, just wanting to be left alone.
Well, they arrested one of the Free Staters, Lauren Canario, for just trying to visit them.
Yeah, that's right. I remember that. Anything else you want to share tonight, Dave Ridley?
I have quoted the email into my audio recorder, and we'll be uploading that on the Ridley Report, but it might be tomorrow before it appears.
That's over at RidleyReport.com. That's Dave's YouTube channel. Thanks for the call tonight. I appreciate it. As we continue, you can bring up anything that you want. Our number here, 855-450, free like freedom. And actually, Ed Brown, he was one of those guys that was like tough to really like because he was just so crazy. You know, like he believed the Illuminati was after him. He was kind of one of those guys. And, you know, by all evidence, somebody was after him for sure. I don't know if it was the Illuminati. And I had mistakenly associated, you mentioned Aleister Crowley earlier in the show tonight when we were talking about people who passed away. Barbara Bush died. Apparently, there are allegations that she is the son of Aleister Crowley.
Daughter of Aleister.
She looks like a man. I was looking at the news footage of her, and she did not look very feminine.
No, she's always looked little. She's always looked little butch.
But Crowley, apparently, one of you mentioned that he was the founder of Satanism. That does not appear to be accurate. You might be thinking of Anton LaVey. Crowley actually claimed at one point that he was not a Satanist.
You're right. I am thinking of LaVey. Aleister Crowley, he
inspired LaVey to some extent.
Okay, yeah, I was going to say, I know there was something that he did with maybe the occult.
Oh, yeah, all kinds of weird occult, esoteric crap.
Okay.
His big thing was the sex magic and do what you will.
Yeah, and looking at the pictures of this guy, as I mentioned off the air, he looks like he should be in a live-action role-playing group or something like that. I mean, he looks like just a total dorky dude, which might explain why he got into a sex cult, so he could possibly get laid.
What better way? But yeah, he and Barbara's mom
allegedly
they were friends, but she came right over to the States, and a year later, Barbara was out, and eventually she ended up marrying one of the Bushes,
now
one of America's royalty.
Right, and of course, if you want to get into esoteric stuff, you can find all kinds of like connections between families like the Bushes, and didn't they say
all the presidents,
and like creepy esoteric order kind of clubs like the Skull and Bones Society that apparently George W. Bush was a part of, and likely I think his father was also a part of, which is one of those secretive organizations.
And he killed Kennedy.
Who? His dad?
Bush's, yeah.
Because he was a CIA director?
Correct. He was there. Of course, he won't admit that he was there, but there's plenty of pictures of him right there.
He's the only man that was alive in the United States that does not remember where he was the day that Kennedy was assassinated.
He was right there.
Wait a minute. Was he the director of the CIA at that time, or just
CIA
a foot
something.
soldier?
No, I think he was the director.
I don't recall.
Because they're not going to have the director go out and pull the trigger on something.
No. I'm not saying he did it.
Right. You're saying he ordered it done.
It.
Yeah, he ordered it. Yeah. I mean, you can get into these areas, and it's a very deep, dark rabbit hole. And look, all you need to know about these people is they want to control you.
Right.
Whatever their personal beliefs are about their religion. Because again, just because Aleister Crowley was an occultist doesn't necessarily mean his daughter was. She may have been, somebody who considered herself a good Christian. But all that said, there's definitely some very creepy things that have been associated with the Bush family over time. But the creepiest thing is the fact that they want to control other people, and they send people to their doom in the form of the military, and they're no different than any of the Democrats that have been presidents.
Sacrifice
people that are not theirs to sacrifice.
Correct.
Toll-free number to join us on the radio, 855-450 free like freedom. This is Free Talk Live, 855-450-3733. More coming up. We'll tell you what's going on with Dick's Sporting Goods. It's pretty ridiculous coming up.
This is Darryl W. Perry, host of Free Talk Live. This November, I'll be running in the world's biggest and most popular marathon, the New York City Marathon, and I've accepted a spot on Team Innocence Project because I'm a passionate supporter of their work. Since 1989, 353 people in the United States have been exonerated by DNA testing, including 38 who pled guilty to crimes they did not commit, and 20 of whom served time on death row. The Innocence Project provided direct representation or critical assistance in 180 of these cases. With your help, the Innocence Project can help even more people who have been wrongly convicted. As part of Team Innocence Project, I am raising awareness about wrongful convictions and raising funds to help free the innocent. I've already paid the race registration fees. However, to secure my spot on Team Innocence Project in the New York City Marathon, I need to raise $3,500 by November 1st. You can support the Innocence Project and help me secure my race entry by going to run.freetalklive.com.
The Bitcoin.com wallet is a simple and powerful, full-featured wallet that allows you to send and receive Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin Core with anyone, anywhere in the world. It supports both single and multi-signature wallets and is available in multiple languages. The Bitcoin.com wallet is available on Windows, Linux, Mac, Android, and iOS devices. Learn more at wallet.bitcoin.com.
Cryptocurrencies are successful because of good technology. The liberty-loving voluntarists who founded Zencash in 2017 took the best tech, like zero-knowledge anonymity and decentralized autonomous organizations, and are creating a secure platform for money, messages, and media that can be sent to anyone, anywhere in the world. Zencash is a cryptocurrency dedicated to peace, anonymity, and decentralization. Find out more at zencash.com. That's zencash.com. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. Did you know you can watch Free Talk Live during our live show 7 days a week from 7 to 10 p.m. Eastern via our studio cams at cam.freetalklive.com? Plus, you can chat with other listeners while you watch, all totally free. Now that our live video stream is hosted by YouTube, our video archives will be online even faster, so be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Listen, watch, and chat all free at cam.freetalklive.com. That's cam.freetalklive.com.
I love My Magic Mud. I drink a lot of coffee. I had stains on my teeth. Then I found My Magic Mud, and I was told it would remove stains. So I paid attention when I brushed the first time. My Magic Mud is black tooth powder, and the difference it made in my teeth in one application was noticeable. With 4, my teeth were as white as you normal folks out there. Please go to mymagicmud.com and buy a jar. There's 150 applications for $25. You can use Bitcoin, mymagicmud.com.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You are invited to join us right here on the radio, take control of the airwaves, and bring up anything that you want. Our number for you to do that is 855-450, free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Darryl, tell me about Liberty.menu. What is it?
Liberty.menu is a social networking site of sorts where at its heart is a directory of liberty-minded businesses. It's something that libertarians have been asking for like a decade at least. And, well, there's not really been one that has taken off.
Yeah, they never really have. And they've always been kind of lackluster, never really.
But Liberty.menu, again, they've added this social networking aspect to where you can wind up rating and reviewing businesses and events, kind of like Yelp.
Yep.
But you can
only
also,
for liberty-friendly businesses.
Right. And you can also connect and share with others. And again, it's a tool for our community. Again, at its core, it's a directory for events, businesses, and digital content, and more. Use of Liberty.menu is exclusively for individuals who reject the initiation of force and for those who agree to abide by the ethics of the non-aggression principle. Put your voluntarist ideas into action at Liberty.menu, and if you use code FTL in that activity code area, you wind up getting a special Free Talk Live listener badge.
Sweet.
liberty.menu.
Because we can't give you a discount for putting in code FTL because it's free.
Right.
So you just go there and load up whatever businesses, whatever entrepreneurial things you've got there, so other libertarians can find you.
Yep, and find events such as Fork Fest.
All right, we'll talk about that coming up here in a little bit. So check it out at liberty.menu. As we continue here, we'll take your calls, your thoughts about what you want. This is a name we haven't seen on the phones in a while here on Skype. He's Ricky from the Commonwealth. Hello, Ricky.
That'd be the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania there, brother Ian.
You're on the air. Go ahead.
Well, it's been a while since I've been here. I've been very busy. I'm famous now, Ian.
You're famous. It sounds like you've downgraded the quality of your phone, though, so you don't sound more famous. I'll tell you that.
I know this headset's crap, okay, but don't worry about that. I'm sorry. I'll work on it. I'm not going to use it anymore. No, here's the thing. I'll tell you about how famous I am.
All right.
I'm as famous as the famous Twitch from the Skype chats. That's how famous I've become.
You're as famous as who?
Twitch.
Twitch, the website where you can stream video of.
Twitch, the girl. Twitch killed your waffles. The girl.
I don't know.
She's quite famous. Look her up.
I've never heard of her.
Never heard of her. Can't be that famous.
Can you claim somebody's famous if Conan? Have you heard of this Twitch girl from the Skype chats?
Her name is Twitch.
That's what he's saying.
I've never heard of her, but I don't follow Twitch either. So
well, no, it's a Skype chat. Somebody who's in. See, Ricky is obsessed with these Skype chats. They're these group chats where like dozens of people will be in a chat on Skype. And it's just, we've had somebody add us to some of these things on our Skype here, and it's super annoying because it's just a bunch of crap.
Okay,
is this like the
that
new?
won't happen no more.
Is this like the new ham radio operator thing where they just kind of everyone's monitoring a channel and they just get in and start talking? Hey, what's going on?
I think you're thinking about CB radio because ham radio is licensed, whereas CB, well, it was for a time licensed, but they got rid of the licenses.
Well, I know this is free and all, but similarly you have
Party line. It's a party line.
It's party line.
Yeah.
Well, here, I'll tell you this here. Now, I own the Skype chats because I've been down there.
You own the Skype chats. Every Skype chat, Ricky owns them. Now, what does it mean to own it? Huh?
I'm the top cop on there. I mean, I'm the most popular man on there.
How do you know that?
How do I know that? Yeah. Because first of all, I'm leader of the Confederacy on there. You don't know this, but we fought the Civil War for a month.
You fought a civil war on a Skype chat.
That's right. That's right. And I'll tell you something.
Wait. So there was like a schism, and did the chat group like break into two and became another chat group?
Wouldn't surprise me.
Doesn't work that way. Hundreds of groups, across hundreds of groups, 300 people about. Now, here's the point of this. I had a hidden agenda because I'm on there catching pedophiles. I've got the person down in York, Pennsylvania, as young as 10 years old, that child prostitution ring started in the first quarter of 2017. That's why I'm on there. But my hidden agenda, there's a lot of Commonwealth of Pennsylvania stuff all over the country. People are all of a sudden surge for, freedom and independence. I've been using that for my hidden agenda.
So, okay, let me see if this is a little jumbled here, Ricky, as it tends to be with your calls. So I'm going to see if I can sort out what it is you're saying. You have gone into Skype chats, large group chats on Skype, with the intention of taking down pedophiles.
And promoting liberty.
Yes,
I'm sorry, the Confederacy.
The Confederacy, right. He believes he's a reincarnation. He said this before. He didn't say it tonight. But he believes he's the reincarnation of someone we were discussing earlier, the president of the Confederacy. What was that guy's name again?
Jefferson Davis.
Jefferson Davis.
How well did you know Bedford? Was he a good guy?
The KKK guy?
Yeah, Forrest Gump.
I don't know him. I do not know him. Thank you.
The general. His statue was right next to you in Memphis, or it used to be in December before they took it down.
I don't know him. I don't know him there, brother. I really don't.
So
he doesn't come into me. I don't have any connection.
So are you going into like pedophile chat rooms, or where are you doing this investigating?
Okay, first of all, I've been investigating ever since after Valentine's Day is when I started. Okay, now. If you want to hear about that, I'll tell you. We can talk about the Confederacy another day. Now, I went in there, and the people I mentioned, unfortunately, one of these pedophiles is the one that was adding you, a man by the name of Dylan. He started calling himself Dylan of the Commonwealth. Well, we took care of that.
How did you take care of it?
Well, like a deputy of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania would, ultimately.
What does that mean?
Well, I got him in a room alone, and we had a little talk. That's all right. His dad's also in on the CP.
Where did this guy, this alleged pedophile that you're talking about, Does he live there near you in Pennsylvania?
I got about 12 of them, actually, total. I got 4 of them already I'm done with. Plus,
so what happens when you get one of these guys in a room? Like, what is that like? What do you do to them?
Well, first of all, you got to understand it's been mass hysteria because they've been trying to cover up themselves. And, the one shenanigans, he's the one behind, he was involved. He's a fake truck driver. And he was in York, Pennsylvania. I was going to go get him. No, he's not. Actually,
there's a lot of things you can fake in this world, but why you would fake being a truck driver, I don't know.
Oh, you remember the guy with the ice cream truck? Come on, little girl. That one, as young as 10 years old.
Oh, so you're saying he was like an ice cream truck driver. He was, okay, no, that makes a little more sense, right? He was posing as
a rig. Huh? He loads trucks. He loads trucks. He doesn't actually drive a rig.
Well,
now, I, on the other hand,
why would you fake that?
Driver. Because he's a pervert, dude. There was a sudden
loading trucks is not going to get you close to children. If you're driving around an ice cream truck, then I could see that would make sense, right? Like if you don't have a real ice cream truck, but instead you're just abducting children because they think that you've got ice cream.
Right. I'm making a joke there. That's how he travels.
Well, this isn't really a funny topic.
No, it's not.
I mean, you're talking about actual danger to
no,
children.
It's terrible. I've seen horrible things. I was deputy of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. One of the things they don't do, the new modern version of swatting, is throwing child pornography on somebody's device. They won't do that to me because I can, if I need to, can not only be in some of these horrible rooms. I saw a room. I got to go up to New York. I got to hit Indiana. And I got to hit Texas right off the bat.
Look out, Indiana. Look out, Texas. Ricky is on the case. Thanks for the call tonight. I appreciate it. Toll-free number here, 855-450-FREE. He's coming to a chat room near you. 855-450.
To promote the Confederacy.
3733 to
keep you
take down the pedophiles. 855-450-3733. Also, you can join us on Skype at Skype username LRN.FM or hop into the Discord on-air call-in line room at discord.lrn.fm. Speaking of sexual assault, we got the Bill Cosby allegations coming up here in moments. It's Free Talk Live.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug-out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of slingbow. A new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
Anytime, any place, anywhere, radio remains the most intimate of all forms of media. At home, at work, in the car, on smartphones. Over 90% of consumers still listen to radio every week. That makes choosing radio as a place to advertise your business one of the best decisions you can make. Email advertise@gcnlive.com and partner up with an experienced GCN representative. Advertise@gcnlive.com. Easy, affordable, effective.
Now, a lot of little girls do ballet even though their fathers couldn't care less and don't see what the big deal is. But one talented little prodigy actually choreographed a whole ballet that her father could enjoy and even look forward to. Let's meet Erin Kemper and her father, Jack.
Hi.
Thanks for having us.
Erin, how did you do that? I thought about all the things that my dad likes to watch and put it into a ballet.
Well, we have a special treat for you today because Erin is now going to perform her new ballet. When I pay the bills, I get to make the rules.
We can't afford that. World War II. I miss your mother too, but we're going to have to do the best without her. Go Redskins!
Bravo! Well done. Boy, I wish you were mine. You know, my two girls are grown up, but you still couldn't pay me to watch one of their a cappella shows. What inspired you to create this amazing ballet?
I'm really inspired by the theme of my dad paying any attention to me at all.
Now, at the end, I hear she just put the game up on the big screen. I don't know where she gets it.
This is the Onion News Network.
Ross Ulbricht was convicted in early 2015 of running the infamous Silk Road Underground Market. The Silk Road was a gift to humanity and helped reduce the harms brought on by drug prohibition. For this good deed, Ross has been sentenced to life in prison with no possibility of parole. Now, an appeal is Ross's only chance, and he needs your support. Please visit freeross.org, where you can contribute via various methods, including Bitcoin. Visit freeross.org. That's freeross.org. Did you know we've taken our LRN.FM telephone listen line to a new level with the LRN.FM audio on demand line? Now you can call 712-770-8447 anytime and listen to LRN.FM's live feed. And you can listen to a bunch of our original shows on demand. Long distance fees may apply. Just dial 712-770-8447 and choose from the menu. 712-770-8447.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippies! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
It's Free Talk Live. You can dial toll-free and join us here. Our number, 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Skype username LRN.FM. Here in the studio tonight, it's Ian.
And Conan.
And Darryl.
The latest on the Bill Cosby sexual assault retrial. They couldn't get him either found guilty or not guilty at the previous attempt, so they're trying it again. We'll tell you more about that coming up here in moments. Also, Darryl, you'd mentioned Fork Fest in the last segment, and that is coming up, and it'll be here sooner than you think. We are about 2 months away from the second ever Fork Fest. It's Fork Fest 2018, happening June 14th through the 18th in the beautiful White Mountains of New Hampshire, Rogers Campground. It's going to be the festival before the Porcupine Freedom Festival, which is a festival that we've attended for many years in the past. And there was a bit of a schism, a bit of a fork, if you will, in that particular festival attending audience. And some people wanted to turn the Pork Fest into like a family-friendly only kind of an event. And then the people that, maybe wanted to have a little bit more fun that might not be acceptable at a family-friendly event, they didn't have their own event at that point. So now we've just got a decentralized event called Fork Fest, and it's decentralized because there's nobody in charge. There's not a board of directors. There's not an organizer. It's just some of us decided, I think it was actually on the air, it was you, me, and Will Coley. Darryl, we just sort of talked about, hey, let's do this 5 days before the Porcupine Freedom Festival. It'll be called Fork Fest, and or whatever you want to call it, because nobody's really in charge of this thing. There is an unofficial website you can go to at forkfest.party. There's a Telegram chat group. There are some chat rooms on the LRN Discord, and you can link to all of that over at forkfest.party. So it's up to you to create what happens at Fork Fest. Maybe you don't want to create anything. Maybe you just want to, relax at a campsite, hang out with some libertarians. You'll be able to do that. And it sounds to me like more people are planning on attending Fork Fest this year than attended it last year, which makes sense because last year it was a pretty last-minute thing that we, some people just kind of threw together. And this year, people are throwing things together a lot earlier.
Right.
But we don't know what things because nobody's really in charge. I would say the best resource is probably the Fork Fest forum, because there you can have individual threads about whatever different events that people want to do on their own campsites, whether it be selling food. There's already talk about there being some food vendors, which will be a first because there weren't any officially there for Fork Fest last year. So it's going to be interesting to see what kind of develops, what springs out from a completely unorganized event. It's forkfest.party. Go learn more about it and mark your calendar for June 14th through the 18th here in New Hampshire. Bill Cosby's sexual assault trial is back on. It is a retrial. We reported a couple weeks ago that there was a topless protester who got arrested outside of the trial, and that's something we don't see a whole lot here in the United States, but she was one of the femin protesters. We've seen some of them doing topless events in places like Russia and other Eastern European nations. It was the first time I'd ever seen a femin event in the United States. So that was newsworthy. But also, of course, what's going on inside the trial is pretty interesting because, a lot of us grew up with Bill Cosby, right? Like, we didn't know him. But how many of us?
America's dad.
Well, and you know what? I never really watched the Cosby Show, although that's certainly what he was big for. I mean, I might have encountered a couple episodes here and there as a kid, but I saw him on not Reading Rainbow. That was LeVar Burton. But there was like this thing that he did on Nickelodeon where it would be between like commercial breaks. They had like a 2-minute thing where he had this pen and he would draw, and there was like books that they would send you. And they were like really long commercials
He was Reading Rainbow's cousin.
Yeah, there were really long commercials for like this drawing subscription service, basically. And what you would do is you'd subscribe to it. And I think at one time my parents had subscribed to me when I was a little kid to this thing. But they would send you a book, or like a coloring book or something, or like Connect the Dots, maybe it was. And
picture pages.
That's it, picture pages. And thank you for that, Darryl. Thank the internet, right? You looked that up somewhere. But you would like connect dots or whatever, and he would do the thing on the television, and the idea was you were supposed to do it along with him. So it was almost like Bill Cosby was leading you through this picture pages thing.
Didn't he voice a character in a cartoon like
Fat Albert?
Fat Albert.
Well, Fat Albert was his character. So Bill Cosby was a comedian, right?
So they probably built that cartoon around his character?
Yeah, I remember that was actually how I knew who Bill Cosby was rather than seeing him on The Cosby Show, was my parents actually had some of his old comedy albums. So
I have a couple of them myself.
They were funny, man. He had some really good comedy acts that he did.
I picked them up. I thought they might sell for some good money, but no, I still have them.
Nobody wants albums anymore.
No, they don't want that crap.
So here's a bit of a summary of some of what happened earlier this week.
Wait, what was the FEMA girl? What was she actually protesting? Was she there protesting Cosby or something else?
Cosby. She specifically came to his trial. She's a former actress on his show, on The Cosby Show from the 1980s. So she was like a young teenager. She was one of the friends of the Cosby character's daughter on the show.
But isn't that the opposite of what you would want to do, is to get topless in front of Cosby if he's actually a problem? I mean, aren't you defeating the whole argument?
The point is to get attention, Conan.
Well, I get that part, but
if she had just stood there with a sign, it wouldn't have been newsworthy. She got news coverage because she stripped down, and the cops came after her. There were like 6 cops that went after just a topless lady, and they threw her in the bushes and like had to fish her out of there, and it was a scene.
Yeah.
So
I remember.
She wanted to cause a scene, and she did, and she got all kinds of photos and all kinds of news coverage. We talked about it. I wouldn't have even known the Cosby trial was happening if it wasn't for her.
Well, it's been going on forever.
Right, but I had no idea that there was even a mistrial or a hung jury. I had no idea about that. And so that they're restarting it.
So they're having a retrial.
Correct. And he, of course, is accused of sexual assault against Andrea Constand, that she's the victim in this case, but of course there are many women who have come out and said that Cosby has victimized them. Some of those women were expected to testify at this retrial. Prosecutors delivered a 1-2 punch on Monday as chief accuser, this is from, by the way, Yahoo News, chief accuser Andrea Constand rejected defense allegations that she concocted her story to score a big payday, and her mother testified that Cosby apologized. Because Cosby did, I believe, make a fairly large payment to Ms. Constand about a decade ago. Andrea and Gianna Constand's testimony followed that of additional 5 accusers who told jurors that Cosby had drugged and assaulted them 2 decades earlier. Constand has accused Cosby of drugging and molesting her at his suburban Philadelphia home in 2004. And Cosby has denied those allegations. Prosecutors were building to the conclusion of their case against Cosby. He had arrived for the trial. Spokeswoman for the 80-year-old comedian blasted the chief accuser and her mother as they arrived at the courthouse in the morning. Ebony Benson says Andrea and her mother's testimony, quote, seemed to be more colorful and embellished than during last year's trial that ended with a hung jury. Constand on Monday denied making up her story. And let's see, what else? The judge ruled that day that the jurors can hear the comedian's prior testimony about giving quaaludes to women before sex. So this was in a previous case. Judge Stephen O'Neill ruled, this was Tuesday, that prosecutors can read the testimony into the record at Cosby's retrial on charges he drugged and molested Constand. He had testified at a deposition related to the lawsuit against him, or Constand's suit against him, that he had gotten Quaaludes from his doctor in the 1970s. He said he was given 7 prescriptions for the now-banned sedative, ostensibly for a sore back. He had said he had never taken the drug himself, instead saving it to give to women with whom he wanted to have sex. Cosby's lawyers argued the testimony is irrelevant to his retrial because there's no evidence that he gave Constand the drug.
Is this something that famous people have to do to get sick?
Get Quaaludes?
Yeah, to drug women and knock them out to actually have sex with them.
Well, that's a good question, Conan.
Yeah, and I've heard from some people that a lot of times, famous people will hire prostitutes, not because that's the only way they can get laid, but because prostitutes tend to stay silent about what sort of freaky things people are into. And in this sort of case, this is rape. Rape isn't about sex. It's about power and control.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
Let's come back with more here because this is pretty creepy, that he actually admitted to having Quaaludes and giving them to women specifically before sex, under oath, under deposition. More coming up here. It's Free Talk Live.
Zencash is an end-to-end encrypted system with zero-knowledge technology over which communications, data, or value can be securely transmitted and stored. With over 7,500 secure nodes, Zencash has one of the most distributed node systems of any cryptocurrency. Zencash is a platform for cryptocurrency and communications built by voluntarists for voluntarists, with the ideas of voluntary interaction being written into the white paper no less than half a dozen times. Learn more at zencash.com. That's zencash.com.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I hate the state. I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
Fellow Patriots, my name is Todd Savage, founder of BlackRifleRealEstate.com. Like you, I was a prisoner of the alt-left sanctuary state until one day I chose to lead my family to freedom. Today we live on a sustainable 20-acre homestead where we shoot, hunt, garden, and homeschool our children without the tyranny of the nanny state looking over us. If you're ready to flee the city to the freedom of Idaho or Montana, our Black Rifle Real Estate team is here to help. Go to BlackRifleRealEstate.com. That's BlackRifleRealEstate.com.
Water is the single most important thing your body needs, so you want to be sure it's the best for you and your family. Since 2005, thousands have depended on Berkey purified water. The Berkey Guy provides the lowest priced filtration systems in every size. For incredibly delicious water now and in an emergency, get to GoBerkey.com or call 877-886-3653. 877-886-3653. GoBerkey.com.
The Shire Free Church offers a sanctuary to those seeking an escape from state churches.
The Shire Free Church is an interfaith, diverse group of people that may not share identical theological beliefs. As a member in or minister of the Shire Free Church, you are a sovereign individual and may be the faith of your choice.
We don't claim to have all of the answers.
We are open to all peaceful people.
We want to learn from each other.
What unifies the Shire Free Church and its diverse members is peace,
love, and liberty. There are many paths to God, one for every individual.
The Shire Free Church does not define a specific path beyond those parameters that must be your foundation.
Peace as your way,
love as your guide,
and liberty as your light.
Learn more at church.shiresociety.com.
That's church.shiresociety.com. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com. You can get emailed announcements and participate in contests via our email updates list. Plus, we have a Twitter account that you can follow and a Facebook page where you can become a fan. So visit news.freetalklive.com to get news about Free Talk Live as soon as it's announced. and the way you want it delivered at news.freetalklive.com. That's news.freetalklive.com. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You can join us on the radio. Take control of the airwaves here at 855-450 Free Like Freedom. That's 855-450-3733. You are welcome to join our Discord server, and you might find some people you like. You might find some people you don't like. There are some people who do not like each other who are battling it out on the Free Talk Live chat room tonight, and actually for the past uncounted nights, I think, at this point.
Since the beginning of time.
But the good news is there are other rooms. You can join various different rooms for various different topics, like gaming, cryptocurrency, New Hampshire, other things like that. And then, of course, there's the one that people are most active in during the show, the Free Talk Live channel. So go and check that out. And you can also join us on the air through Discord via the on-air call-in line room. Just go to discord.lrn.fm. You can test out the online version. They've got a web app for Discord. But if you like it, you can download their app and put it on whatever device is your favorite, or more than one device. I've got Discord on the studio computer here, and I've also got it on my personal cell phone, so I can always check in there and see what's going on. And it's free, so you can get involved, and I think over 600 people have signed up thus far for the Discord, and I was actually looking at statistics the other day to see how many of them have actually come back. Because it's one thing to say, oh, we got 600 members. Well, yeah, but how many of them have actually used it within the last week or so? So, yeah, over 608 members. And according to this, we now have, I don't know. I'll have to figure out that later. But anyway, there was a way to figure it out, and I just don't remember what it is at the moment. Oh, yeah, prune. I have to hit the prune button, and then it'll tell me more than 7 days ago. Yes. So 300 members have not been there in 7 days. So we got half of them. We got half of them.
Like the fruit?
Prune, yeah, like prune
or
them
like
out.
The prune,
like to remove
a tree, yeah.
I can remove if I wanted to. I haven't done this yet, but I could remove people who have been inactive for a certain amount of time. So anyway, the toll-free number here, 855-450 Free Like Freedom. More about what's going on with Bill Cosby and his sexual assault retrial here. They couldn't get a conviction. They couldn't get a not guilty out of the first time. And so this time around, the judge has ruled that the prosecutors can actually read into testimony Cosby's statements at a deposition related to a lawsuit against him by the same alleged victim, Andrea Constand. And the deposition that will be read in is testimony where Cosby says that he received Quaaludes from his doctor in Los Angeles in the 1970s and then has given those Quaaludes to women that he wanted to have sex with. So he's admitting to drugging up women with the intention of having sex with them.
And what we were talking about in the last segment, not just having sex with them, but raping them.
Well, right. Raping them ostensibly while they're out of it.
Correct.
Right?
Against their will.
Yeah. But he's probably going to argue that they wanted the Quaaludes, that they knew what he was giving them, and that they were taking them consensually. Would likely be his argument. I don't know. I'm just speculating here because otherwise, I mean, that's a pretty clear, creepy, horrifying thing to admit to.
Right.
Right. A police sergeant has told jurors, this was on Tuesday, that a suburban Philadelphia prosecutor abruptly shut down an initial investigation into allegations that Cosby had sexually assaulted a woman. Cheltenham Township Police Sergeant Richard Schaefer testified that then Montgomery County District Attorney Bruce Castor announced he was closing the 2005 probe just hours after investigators met to discuss leads that needed to be followed up. Castor ended the investigation into Cosby 4 weeks after Andrea Constand told police the comedian had drugged and molested her about a year earlier. The prosecutor had said evidence showed both parties, quote, could be held in less than a flattering light, unquote. His successors reopened the criminal case in 2015 after Cosby's testimony from the civil suit was unsealed. That is to say, the testimony about him drugging up women with Quaaludes. Cosby claims that the encounter was consensual. According to the story, the 80-year-old Cosby Show star says he gave Constand 1.5 tablets of the cold and allergy medicine Benadryl to, quote, help her relax. So you look at what he's admitted to. He's admitted to having Quaaludes that he claims to have been given a prescription for, I guess, before they were outlawed, and then giving that to women to, make it easier to have sex with them, presumably. Yep. And his attorneys argued that, you shouldn't let this in, Judge, because he's not being accused of giving her a Quaalude. He's being accused of giving her Benadryl. Well, how did she know it was Benadryl? It sounds to me like he's been holding on to some Quaaludes for a long time.
But it goes to show the character. It's kind of like some of the stuff in the OJ trial to where I believe the defense didn't want the history of some of the cops being shown to where
because they were corrupt.
The cops had admitted to planting evidence. Well, irrelevant because they're not being accused of planting evidence in this trial, but it goes to show a history.
Right.
If you have a history of planting evidence, then chances are you planted evidence in this case. If you have a history of giving women Quaaludes and then raping them, then it goes to show that you have a history of making women unconscious so that you can rape them.
Right. And what level of honesty was he, if any, when he was providing these women with the pills? Was he telling them that this is going to knock them out? Was he telling them this is going to take the edge off? What was he telling them? And did she know it was actually Benadryl? He says she showed no ill effects from the pills and did not object when he touched her. Cosby told investigators he had a social and romantic relationship with Constand. She says Cosby knocked her out with the pills and then sexually abused her. Cosby's first trial ended without a verdict. More from the story here. Jurors are getting a sense of Bill Cosby's view of consent from a lurid deposition testimony in which the comedian described reaching an area, quote, somewhere between permission and rejection, unquote.
What?
During what he claims was a prior sexual encounter with his chief accuser. I mean, what kind of legal, what is kind of talk is that? You know what I mean? When Bill Clinton said it depends on the definition of what is.
Yep. Yeah.
The comedian reached an area, quote, somewhere between permission and rejection. So that means that they're not quite conscious enough to consent, but not quite conscious enough to reject. That sounds like rape to me.
Yeah. She didn't say no, but she wasn't able to say no.
Right.
So, that's the same as yes, right? No.
Well, maybe she was playing hard to get. Maybe she was playing the game, the cat and mouse game.
Well, and that is part of the difficulty of these allegations is that, what really happened behind closed doors? Was it as she describes it? Was it as he describes it? Or was it something else? Was the truth somewhere in between what the two of them were saying? Cosby testified a dozen years ago as part of a civil lawsuit that Constand filed against him, and so they're reading excerpts from his testimony at the actual criminal charge trial that's happening now. In the deposition, Cosby graphically described a sexual encounter he says he and Constand once had. Constand has testified she rejected his previous advances, and the former Temple University women's basketball administrator accused him of drugging and molesting her at his home. And finally, here, jurors at the sexual assault retrial. Let's see here. Yeah, that's just a summary. So that's the latest there on Cosby. There's one other little addition from pjmedia.com. This is more of an opinion piece, but I'll take the most relevant portion here. When asked, why didn't you have sexual intercourse? This was a police officer asking Cosby in 2004 in relation to an investigation on these allegations. Cosby responded, quote, I don't like it, unquote. Okay, this is supposed to be his defense. This is what his attorneys are putting on as, Cosby, he wouldn't have done this. He doesn't like sexual intercourse. Well, now, wait a minute. maybe that's true.
Yeah, didn't Michael Jackson say the same thing?
I don't know what he said, but in this case, maybe it's true Cosby doesn't like intercourse. One of the accusers, because we read part of her claims a couple weeks ago, she claims she came to consciousness with him penetrating her mouth. So just because he doesn't like intercourse of the traditional variety doesn't mean he doesn't like sticking himself in places where he was not welcome to be. So, this sounds like a pretty weak defense to me, although all he needs is one person to vote not guilty in order for this to be another hung jury, of course. So where this one will end up, we don't know. It's, the allegations here are pretty outrageous, and, a lot of people obviously grew up watching this guy. And, you watch somebody on television, you don't really know who they are. You just know who they're acting to, pretending like they are.
Right.
And similarly, these women didn't know who he really was, if indeed he was really this molester, rapist that they're trying to make him out to be. If you want to share your thoughts, you're welcome to do so. 855-450 free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Some creepy sounding stuff here. Somewhere between permission and rejection is what Cosby said he was. And he's given him, drugs. He's testified to that too. Hour number 3 is coming up.
It's about time something new came along for better selling and buying online. And I found it.
What now, Marge?
It's buysellmakeoffer.com.
Never heard of it.
It's a brand new company. That's why you've never heard of it. It's the newest and best way to sell any products online. I did all the research.
Sell my car?
Yes.
Our home?
Yep.
My golf bag?
Your golf clubs. All of them.
How about your purse collection hoard?
Hey, now.
You said any product.
Right. I did. We get 30 days free.
Really?
Packages starting from only $9.95. And buysellmakeoffer.com will never charge item fees, ever. Never. And this is cool. Listen to this. You can even use Skype or video to show your items.
That's cool.
Yes. All we have to do is go to the website, sign up, and then load our stuff to sell. I love this site.
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. You got it?
Buysellmakeoffer.com.
Buysellmakeoffer.com. Better selling, better buying.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount. Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get 1 free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Wednesday, April 18th, 2018. Silver is trading at $17.13 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,353 per ounce. Zen Cash is trading at $33, and the average price of Bitcoin is $8,096. Antiwar.com reports a group of senators are proposing a new authorization for the use of military force to replace the existing one. This would clarify that force is authorized against the various militant groups, including the Islamic State, Al-Qaeda, and the Taliban, but would not authorize any attacks on any nations, including Syria. This is seen as an effort to make it more clear what Congress intends to authorize, as the 2001 AUMF has been used by all subsequent presidents as a virtual catch-all for launching new wars without a congressional debate. The new authorization for use of military force is backed by senators from both parties, including Senators Bob Corker and Tim Kaine. The new AUMF does not try to set an end date for war, but would seek a congressional review every 4 years. This, too, is something novel, as the past AUMFs have been treated as essentially permanent war against various factions. Previous suggestions of a revised AUMF have tended to be opposed by presidents who see them as necessarily limiting their power. The Trump administration has long expressed opposition to an authorization for use of military force with any limits. The Obama administration felt much the same, initially bragging their proposed AUMF was even vaguer than the first one. When Congress tried to revise this, the administration quickly turned on the proposal as a threat to national security. Whether you're looking for precious metals, bitcoins, or books, you'll find that and more at shop.fppradio.com. Every purchase you make from one of my affiliates at shop.fppradio.com helps fund FPP Radio. That's shop.fppradio.com. UPI reports Sun Country Airlines canceled its last flights out of Mexico due to weather and told U.S. passengers with a return ticket they'd have to find another way home. The Minneapolis Star-Tribune reported the airline said the canceled flights were the last of the season and added it did not have another flight to reaccommodate passengers. Sun Country offered passengers a refund for their return portion of the flight, but said they would be responsible for finding a return ticket through another airline. Kelly Dodson-Smith, the airline's vice president of marketing, told the Star-Tribune the company could not send another plane because doing so would cause more scheduling problems. For over 40 years, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage has been a trusted source for buying and selling precious metals. Gold, silver, platinum, and palladium. They don't feed the banks. They're Bitcoin preferred and have removed the minimum purchase amount for all orders paid in the digital currency. Call Roberts & Roberts Brokerage today for knowledgeable advice on buying and selling precious metals and a forward-thinking approach to new technologies. 800-874-9760 or visit online at rrbi.co. Reuters reports a U.S. law requiring the deportation of immigrants convicted of certain crimes of violence is unconstitutionally vague, according to the U.S. Supreme Court ruling on Tuesday in a decision that could hinder the Trump administration's ability to step up the removal of immigrants with criminal records. The court, in a 5-4 ruling in which President Donald Trump's conservative appointee, Neil Gorsuch, joined the 4 liberal justices, invalidated the provision in the Immigration and Nationality Act and sided with convicted California burglar James Garcia de Maya, a legal immigrant from the Philippines. The ruling, written by Justice Elena Kagan, was decried by the administration, which has defended the provision. Federal authorities had ordered de Maya deported after he was convicted in 2 California home burglaries in 2007 and 2009. Neither burglary involved violence. Kagan said ambiguity surrounding the crimes of violence provision created confusion in lower courts. Kagan wrote, "Does car burglary qualify as a violent felony? Some courts say yes, some say no." Kagan mentioned other examples, including evading arrest and trespassing, in which courts have also been divided. The court's ruling will not affect a number of serious crimes, including murder, rape, counterfeiting, or terrorism offenses, which are specifically listed in the law as grounds for deportation. That could limit its impact, though the government does not provide data on which crimes trigger the most deportations. Immigration attorneys are uncertain how many pending deportations will be affected by the ruling. Gorsuch, in a concurring opinion, wrote that the American colonies in the 18th century cited vague English laws like the crime of treason as among the reasons for the American Revolution. It was not entirely surprising that Gorsuch would break with the 4 other conservatives on the court and vote to strike down the provision. Gorsuch interpreted the immigration provisions based on the original understanding of the Constitution, a view held by many conservative jurists. This has been FPP Radio News. Online at fppradio.com.
Calling it the most effective means to reaching one's full earning potential. A new report issued by the Employee Benefit Research Institute this week found that violently slamming one's supervisor against a wall and shouting, "Cash, I need more cash," is still the leading tactic for securing a raise amongst American workers.
We found that employees have the most success negotiating their salaries when they stride confidently into their supervisor's office, manhandle them like a rag doll, and demand more money right now.
Experts confirmed that the majority of employees who managed to increase their salaries maintained direct eye contact with their supervisors while reiterating that they were not f***ing around, emphasizing their position with phrases such as, "Give me the money now," and "I said more cash, old man." The Onion sat down with Kevin Simmons, who recently applied these methods in negotiating a competitive bump in his annual salary.
So the other day I walked right into his office, grabbed his throat with my hand, and told him straight up, "Start paying me more f***ing money today." and I grabbed $100 out of his wallet and told him that was a good start.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
It is Free Talk Live. We're launching into the third hour of the program. You can take control of the airwaves, bring up whatever you want. Our number, 855-450, free like freedom. I've got an absolutely ridiculous story. I actually happened to see this on the news earlier tonight. Dick's Sporting Goods. They are going to be destroying the guns that they are taking off of their shelves.
Oh, what?
By the way, in the studio with you tonight, it's Ian.
And Conan.
And Darryl.
Yeah, you heard about probably the news about Dick's Sporting Goods, Walmart, other stores, these mega corporations trying to act like they are, responsive to what the people supposedly want, or at least certain loudmouths who get a lot of attention in the news media, like this, what's that kid's name from Parkland?
David Hogg.
David Hogg. These people are making a big stink, so the corporation's got to run out in front there and act like, they've changed their corporate minds and they're now really concerned about these things. Well, Dick's is trying to one-up Walmart here. Instead of just saying they're going to take guns off their shelves, the so-called assault-style rifles, they're now saying they're just going to straight-up destroy them.
Wait, is Walmart removing guns or just raising the buying age?
They're removing certain. Same thing with Dick's.
Scary guns.
They're removing the scary guns,
assault-style
the ones that can be turned into fully semi something with a 30-round bump clip stock.
Because you can't assault anybody with a handgun. No, that's impossible.
Or a knife.
Right. So here's a story from the New York Times. Instead of returning to manufacturers the inventory that they have of guns, they will just go right ahead and destroy them.
Are they going to make art out of these things?
I don't know. It's the latest action taken by the Pennsylvania retailer that agreed to ban the sale of assault-style rifles at its 35 Field and Stream stores, and to stop selling firearms and ammunition to anyone younger than age 21. Since the massacre at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida, in February that left 17 students and staff members dead, corporations have quickly responded to the public's growing demand for responsible gun control measures. Because that would have stopped the shooting, right? If Dick's Sporting Goods and... Oh, wait, how old was the shooter in this case? Wasn't he like...
He was younger than 21.
Yeah, I thought he was younger than 21.
And didn't he also... not have permission of whoever he got the gun from?
Generally, they usually end up stealing guns from the people that they get them from to do these things. So, of course, people who are willing to commit school shootings are people who are willing to commit crimes, which means that they don't have any problem acquiring guns through illegal sources and illegal means, which means that no corporate policy is going to keep guns out of their hands. But this is all about image, right? This is all about image in the same way that Starbucks is closing its stores this week sometime for a few hours to retrain all of its employees.
No, it's going to be like Memorial Day.
What do you mean?
The day that Starbucks is closing.
Okay.
It's the end of May. They're not closing this week.
Oh, okay.
They made the announcement this week.
Ah, I see.
But it's going to be like Memorial Day.
But it's all about image. It's all about, pandering to whatever particular viewpoint they feel is being held by a large number of people. Because obviously you're going to upset some people. You're going to upset whoever it is that was the regular, gun buyers, ammo buyers at the Field and Stream stores, and they're willing to, apparently.
I work at Enterprise Car Rental for a couple hours every week.
Mm-hmm.
And they went ahead and removed their discount to gun owners.
To NRA?
To NRA. And for a whole month, we had these old guys coming in or calling in.
Really?
And they were like, I just want you to know I'm not written from you this week. Just want you to know, and I'm hanging up now.
That is
It'd just be that simple. Or they'd come, old guys would just come in, guys we've never seen before.
Yeah.
Hold on. So why were people boycotting Enterprise?
Because Enterprise removed their
NRA discount.
Their NRA discount.
Okay.
So
just like Delta got rid of their NRA discount, and a bunch of people were all up in arms. I'm never flying Delta again.
Yeah.
And then Delta said, we've only ever had like a dozen people ever request the discount in the history of ever.
Yeah, I believe that. So going on here, the school shooting in Parkland sparked all of this. Several retailers agreed to stop selling firearms to younger consumers under 21, among them Walmart, the nation's largest gun seller, LL Bean, and Kroger, which said it would restrict gun sales at its Fred Meyer stores. Walmart also agreed to stop selling toys. Stop selling toys online that look like assault-style rifles. This is the end of freedom. This is it right here. They're stopping the sale of toys online. I presume that also means in stores, because why would you stop just online? But I mean, how many of us grew up, we all grew up in the 80s, right?
Right.
How many of us grew up watching, Arnold Schwarzenegger movies and, on television or whatever, and then, you had the toy machine guns that you'd buy down at Walmart or Kmart or whatever, and they were either cap guns, which of course they've long since banned caps.
Oh, miss cap guns.
And then, they had the ones toward the end of the 80s, they had the ones that were like they'd make noises without caps, like electronic noises, and that was just good, clean fun for young boys back in the day. Apparently that now, makes people think you're going to be a killer, because everybody I knew would play games with these guns, play pretend with these guns. And it didn't mean they actually wanted to hurt each other. It was just fun. We knew the difference at that time. We were old enough to know the difference between, real violence.
And I think that's part of the problem.
Violence.
It's not just the psychotropic drugs a lot of these kids are on, but it's actually you've taken away the make-believe part. So they go from, I mean, they have a hard time associating reality with the fantasy. They didn't have the opportunity to fantasize and to play with their friends with these, toy weapons, or to actually have, maybe a .22 rifle or a BB gun or a pellet gun that they could grow up with shooting squirrels and stuff in their backyard.
Learn some responsibility.
They went straight from 0 to 100 instead of having that in between where they could learn, the difference between what a toy is and what a pellet gun is and what a real rifle can do.
I mean, this is to me like more evidence of the just kind of wussification, if you will, of young people.
Of young men, of young boys in this country. Yeah, it's absolutely true.
And it's that the fact that Walmart is going to stop selling so-called assault-style rifle toys is ridiculous. And that's not all, though.
Yeah.
Kroger has announced in March that it would stop selling assault rifle-themed periodicals.
What?
Wait.
Magazines.
Kroger is a
gun magazines. It's a grocer.
Kroger's a grocery store.
Yeah.
Grocery stores sell magazines.
Yeah, okay.
Now, look.
A couple.
We all know magazines are going out of style, big time. So I can't imagine the whole magazine section is really generating a whole lot of sales in general. But to specifically target, guns and ammo or whatever, assault rifle themed periodicals. So is a handgun magazine still going to be okay as long as they don't put a assault rifle?
It depends. Can you put a 30-round bump stock on a pistol?
Probably not.
You mentioned that they probably don't sell a lot of magazines, so this isn't really going to hurt them. It's going to improve their image. They're probably not going to lose money on the lack of sales.
Right.
Next question is, does Walmart, because they're not just making these decisions willy-nilly. I mean, they're worried about their image.
Yep.
They're considerate of their image, and they're probably also considered that they're not really going to lose money. And the question is Dick's Sporting Goods actually selling that many weaponry these days to make a decision like this? Because they sell a lot of stuff.
Well, they're saying
shoes and canoes and tents and how many guns do they sell?
Well, apparently Dick's has a subsidiary called Field and Stream, and it is going to be Field and Stream that is not going to be selling these so-called assault-style rifles. So presumably these rifles are probably not available in your standard Dick's store, but they were in the Field and Stream.
So they're still going to be selling weapons.
Correct.
Just not the Field and Stream weapons.
They're still going to they're not going to sell the so-called assault styles. So they'll probably still sell handguns.
Right.
Or maybe like a bolt action rifle or something like that.
Yeah, I don't think this is going to hurt them. I'm still not going to shop with them. I don't.
Yeah, I have no interest in.
First of all, they're super expensive.
Dick's.
Yeah, and I don't camp, so I have no reason to go there.
You can get your camping stuff on Amazon.
Of course, I do buy stuff at Walmart every now and then. So now
they also sell stuff other than camping and shooting. They've got all kinds of sport. They've got running stuff.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, it's super. I'm not buying $150 tennis shoes.
As we've pointed out in the past, it's
I
hard.
don't buy my shoes from Dick's.
When we were talking about national service years ago on Free Talk Live, there were all these corporations signing on to support this, state-forced, state-sponsored, government-run national service program, and it was just like, if you don't shop at the stores that do objectionable things, you don't have anywhere else to shop because basically they all do objectionable pro-government things.
Yep.
There's more coming up here. 855, 450, free like freedom. Join us on Free Talk Live.
What is it costing you in vet bills for that convenience of just pulling open a bag of
formulated, extruded, processed cereal bits that cost a ton of money anyways?
How do you feed your dog to derive not only energy, but a good coat, bright eyes, and a great attitude?
Come to Dinovite for help.
DINOVITE.com.
I found his raw meat diet on Dinovite.com with just the raw meat and the eggs and the Dinovite and the Super Omega on top of it.
Try Super Omega Fish Oil.
Buy 2, get 1 free.
Ground beef, white rice, eggs, including the shells, and the Dinovite supplement, and then the Lico Chops.
Try Lico Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free.
It just balances out his body and his mind and his spirit.
Adding Dinovite to their diet has every single dog in my kennel looking better than they have ever looked.
Their skin is so much better now that they're on the raw diet. I don't even give them the kibble anymore.
DINOVITE.com.
What's more profitable, running your business or doing bookkeeping? Doing your business, of course, but you want to keep your books so that you can maximize your tax savings, right? What if I told you that there's a person that's a bookkeeper, accountant, and law school graduate that's also a hardcore libertarian?
My name is Melanie Johnson, and I will aggressively help you to minimize your tax exposure and maximize profits, all while staying within the law.
Melanie's your best choice for your taxes and bookkeeping needs. Go to tax.freetalklive.com and check out our website, tax.freetalklive.com.
I've said it many times on air, and I'll say it here. The New Hampshire Liberty Alliance is one of the most important organizations for freedom in the world. New Hampshire is ground zero for freedom, and the NHLA is the best organization at promoting effective liberty activism. This ad is sponsored by Free Talk Live, and I, Mark Edge, am a lifetime member because I believe in the NHLA. Please check them out at nhliberty.org. Not everyone can move right now, but you can support the cause. Donate top cryptocurrencies or old-fashioned U.S. dollars, nhliberty.org. Visit their website and see what they're all about, nhliberty.org.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, add yourself to the Shire map at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com.
Here's a chance to do a little activism while you're cruising Facebook, Twitter, or Google+. Between the LOL cats, the recipes, the hot girls, and the inspirational sunrise memes, Free Talk Live's post pass by your newsfeed. Like them, comment. It gives us more exposure. If you don't see our posts, click like at facebook.freetalklive.com and then hover over it to click Get Notifications. It's an easy way to spread the ideas of liberty a bit further. I know you're busy, but you can spare that 1/10 of a calorie it takes to click on something. facebook.freetalklive.com.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
is Free Talk Live. Dial toll free. Join us right here. Our number 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Dick's Sporting Goods announcing that they are going to be destroying their inventory of guns and accessories that they've determined they are no longer going to be selling. Not just send them back to the manufacturer, RMA, get a refund from whoever their wholesale suppliers are. No, we're just going to go ahead and melt these things down.
What if they're going to bring out like a bulldozer? And
make a big show of it, you mean?
Exactly. Put them out on the street and run them over. And
I don't know.
Look at us.
They might as well.
Can you write that off as destroyed inventory?
I don't know anything about tax law. You have to ask Melanie that question. Tax.freetalklive.com. She can help you there. But yeah, you're right, Conan. If they're going to make this ridiculous statement, go all in. Go all in with a big show and invite the media, and they get all kinds of publicity.
Or like Darryl said, like melt them down and like make a statue out of them, like a big peace sign or something.
Put it up in the corporate headquarters.
Yeah,
or something like that.
Be all right.
I mean, look, I am in favor of peace, which is why I support people's ability to own guns, because being able to defend yourself is a way to increase peace, because when some psychopath comes after you or your family or your children at school or whatever, it's good to have good people with guns around. Whether it's a pistol or a rifle or a so-called assault rifle, it's just, the difference is in degrees of how effective they are in different circumstances. And actually, in this case, according to the story at the New York Times, Edward W. Stack, who's the chief executive officer of Dick's, acknowledged that the company sold a shotgun to Nicholas Cruz, the Parkland gunman. So the shotgun is not being banned from Dick's.
Even though that's the weapon that Dick sold to this guy.
So, and by the way, Cruz is still alive. He is now in the news saying he wants his inheritance to go to the Victims Fund in this case. Apparently, Cruz, even though he's 19 years old, already has a sweet inheritance coming to him, which may be as much as $800,000.
Yeah, since his brother here might have $1 million.
Right. So what he's trying to do here is get out of a death penalty. He's trying to take a plea in order to get out of the death penalty.
Right. The idea that this is going to get these types of weapons off the streets is just
ridiculous.
It's laughable. Because, sorry, Dix, you're not going to be putting them on the streets any longer. But guess who is? You're going to have police officers selling their own weapons or weapons they confiscate right out of the trunk of their car.
Do you have a story about that?
Well, I can find that one and bring it up.
I believe it.
It just happened recently.
So that is a thing.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
I thought you were just speculating that could happen.
Or they'll be selling them, or the big agencies will be selling them across country lines to Mexico, and the Mexicans will be selling them right back to us.
Like happened in Bush or Barack Obama?
Yeah, out of the trunks of their cars.
Well, what do they call that, the gun running thing?
Fast and Furious.
Fast and Furious, that's right. Let's go to the phones here. Your calls, your thoughts. You bring up what you want. It's Rob in Charleston, West Virginia. Rob, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hey, guys. How you doing this evening?
Hey, welcome. You're on the air.
All right, man. I just want to know if y'all have heard anything about City National and Bank of America refusing to loan gun manufacturers any more loans.
Actually, there's something here. Well, there's a related bit of information in this story from the New York Times. Says here, Citigroup said it would restrict the sale of firearms by its business partners, demanding that guns not be sold to people younger than 21. So basically, if you use Citigroup as your banking provider or they are your credit card processor, they're going to reject any sales or they're going to basically say, yeah, we're not going to do business with you if your policy is to sell to under 21. So it wouldn't surprise me they're doing what you're saying there as well.
And then headline from the LA Times from 2 days ago mentions Bank of America had also recently made an announcement. Article says made the announcement last week that they will no longer finance companies that make the kinds of combat-style semi-automatic rifles that have been used in deadly mass shootings.
So there's your story, Rob. Yeah, sounds like you're right about that. Your comments?
I've always said that I don't think they'll go door to door getting your guns from you. I just think they'll make it impossible for you to actually get a gun. Either they'll make the ammunition so expensive you can't buy it, or gun manufacturers have to go out of business because they can't afford to make guns anymore.
Or they'll just create a culture of young people who are afraid of them or don't understand them, or
and
like
don't want to buy them.
Like this hog kid, who eventually they'll just not buy them anymore.
Well, that's why I think it's all the more important that we see people migrate based on their beliefs, because it's pretty clear we can't all get along in the United States, and we're never going to. So let's just call this experiment a failure. The United States experiment. Let's dissolve the whole concept and have 50 different state governments out there, 50 different nations where people can move to. So the people who want to control guns can go to the gun control states.
50 or more.
Or whatever, yeah, 50 or fewer. I mean, whatever. The more, the merrier, though, as far as I'm concerned. Let the lefties that want to have no guns go to gun control states where there'll be mass shootings happening, left and right. And then, people that believe in freedom can come to New Hampshire, where we've got relative gun freedom compared to every other state out there, right, and very, very few gun violence incidents.
Yeah, I'm gonna tell you right now. You guys know, and everybody knows. When you're underage, you can't drink. You find a way of getting something to drink.
Sure.
You ban all the guns. People that want to commit crime are going to find guns.
I'd be willing to bet money. Yeah, absolutely. I'd be willing to put money on a bet that David Hogg has had drinks at age 17. I bet he has had alcoholic beverages and gotten drunk at his young age of 17. In fact, I bet most of us in the studio have done that. Rob, good call, man. I appreciate it. We'll let you get back to the kids there in the background. Appreciate hearing from you. Toll-free number 855-450, free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. So,
we were talking about the police, confiscating guns, taking them to their lockup, to their holdup,
and
as
them.
evidence, and then they're just disappearing. I see these stories all the time. I'm sure our listeners have seen them. I just pulled up the first thing that was on Google. This is a Bay Area group watchdog report. 944 lost guns.
Oops.
717 unaccounted for. 192 stolen. And 35 misplaced.
These are things that were, again, put into evidence lockers?
Correct. So 944 guns from Glocks, 6 Hours, Remingtons, a sniper and assault rifles, some equipped with grenade launchers. They used to belong to law enforcement officers across California, but a new Bay Area news group investigation found hundreds of police-issued weapons have either been stolen, lost, or can't be accounted for since 2010.
Did any of those have the chainsaw bayonet?
You mean like in what video game
Evil
has
Dead? Evil Dead?
No, USA Today had posted a graphic a while back showing various attachments that could be added to these assault weapons, and one of them was a chainsaw bayonet.
Mm-hmm.
How does it operate? How do you run it?
It's fake. It's
got to be just...
The USA Today actually published this thing, but
news.
It's not an actual attachment.
Right.
Oh.
So there's all kinds of jokes, and one of
that would be that I would hang that on my wall.
One of the people that I'm friends with that actually host a Star Wars podcast. I forget if it was Roger or Brian, but they posted a thing showing a Death Star attachment
to the Death Star bayonet.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
I'd hang that on my wall too.
All right, 855-450 free like freedom, 855-450-3733. We'll continue. We'll take your calls about what you want. But yeah, you've got corporate America here. A lot of these corporations coming down hard on gun owners, and the only thing that's going to work here is for people to just separate themselves into physical locations where you can be with people that agree with you. It's Free Talk Live.
Healthcare reform is confusing. With the loss of the Obamacare mandate, those needing help can now choose an affordable alternative. By joining Liberty Health Share, you're part of a community of health-conscious Americans all over the country who control their own healthcare costs and choices. Liberty Health Share is not insurance. It is an association of self-pay patients who unite with like-minded people to share the cost of their medical needs. Neighbor helping neighbor. Learn more now by going to libertyoncall.org. That's libertyoncall.org.
Are you living your passion? Are you pumped to go to work because you get to talk about or work with or do the things that interest you the most? Is working, playing, and relaxing one and the same? As long as you're working for someone else, you'll never be living entirely true to yourself and your passion. I'm Pharmacist Keith. Let me show you how you can work around your current schedule, create the extra income so you can live your passion. Visit radio.recordedvideo.com. That's radio.recordedvideo.com. radio.recordedvideo.com.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market.
Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing, to be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
We've all heard about blockchain assets like Dogecoin, Ether, and Ripple. Bitcoin isn't the only player in the blockchain game any longer. And for those of us wondering how to get our hands on these digital assets, finally, there's a solution. Shapeshift.io allows you to buy and sell between your digital assets and Bitcoin instantly between your own digital wallets. I've used it with ease. Shapeshift.io. There's no account or email address needed. You send them the crypto you want to sell. They send back the crypto you want to buy. It's that easy. Shapeshift.io.
So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM.
Anyone can publish on the internet, but not everyone is publishing material suited for online reading. According to the Yahoo Style Guide, it cautions that internet content has a few seconds, 3 or less, to encourage people to read more, to take action, or navigate to another one of your pages. So make it easy for readers to pick and choose. Isn't that the way you poke around online? Use short words, short sentences, short paragraphs, bulleted lists, and short pages. Front load what you write, putting the most important information at the beginning of headlines and paragraphs and sentences. Same goes for your keywords, what someone would likely type into the search box on Yahoo or Google. For more tips on communicating better online or in a job interview or everyday life, hit survivalspeech.com. I'm Holland Cook.
Help get LRN.FM into more ears. Visit promote.lrn.fm for a free bumper sticker, flyers, banners, graphics, and more. Promote.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. Dial toll free. Bring up what you want. Our number here, 855-450 free like freedom. 855-450-3733. We like freedom. We like cryptocurrencies because cryptocurrencies are a path to increase your freedom. When you're not, when the money that you have isn't relying on the state or these mega banks. We were just talking about Citigroup and Bank of America putting in new policies to try to restrict gun sales. You know, when you're getting away from banks and the government's money, which is, of course, the U.S. dollar or any other fiat currencies around the globe, and you use cryptocurrencies, you are putting the power of money into your own hands. Now, we are big fans of cryptocurrency in general, but there's a bunch of choices out there in the world of cryptocurrency, close to 1,600 different options listed over at coinmarketcap.com. How do you know which ones you should seriously consider picking up? Well, I mean, Bitcoin is the obvious, top of the heap. It was the first one. It was the first decentralized cryptocurrency, and it's, pretty awesome because of, being there first. But there's been some pretty great technological advances since Bitcoin came out. Bitcoin's almost a decade old at this point. Now, they can upgrade it over time, so It's not exactly the original Bitcoin that it once was. But one of the things they've never added to Bitcoin is any privacy capability whatsoever. So while there are semi-private ways that you can use Bitcoin,
coin mixing, things of that sort,
right? The whole thing is public. The ledger, the blockchain that's behind the scenes, it's the public ledger that is the guts of Bitcoin. It's completely public. You can look at every transaction that's ever occurred. It's all out there. Zencash is one of the few privacy coins out there that's worth talking about, because not only do they have some of the best technology in the form of zero-knowledge anonymity style privacy, they've also got decentralized autonomous organizations they're working on to govern the Zencash currency. They've got more than 8,000 secure nodes, which means they're one of the most secure networks of any cryptocurrency out there. So you want to talk about privacy, security, great technology, they've got all that. And on top of that, they've got the philosophy of liberty really written right into their white paper. It talks about voluntarism in their white paper. Go and see it for yourself. Learn more, do your due diligence, and then maybe get involved over at zencash.com. That's zencash.com. We're talking about corporations, corporate America coming down on gun owners, coming down on other companies, preventing the bankers, apparently, some of them, like Bank of America and Citigroup, preventing the people they're doing business with from selling guns under the age of 21. As our caller from West Virginia just pointed out, apparently Bank of America has also said they're not even going to loan money to anybody that's going to be manufacturing certain types of guns. So, if you want to build a new manufacturing plant, you can't get a loan from Bank of America for that. And so it's getting more and more difficult here in the United States to be a gun-oriented business. Kroger banning gun magazines of assault-style rifle magazines from their magazine racks. I mean, all these little things that they're doing, they're doing it to get publicity. They're doing it to take a side, and they believe that they're taking the right side. But how do you really calculate this stuff? I mean, as a CEO or a board of directors at a corporation, you're not on the ground. You're not, as you said, Conan, you have old guys walking into the rent-a-car company that you work for that made some, anti-gun decision or whatever, and they were saying, well, I'm not going to rent a car from you. You heard that feedback because you're working.
A lot of it.
Right, you're working there. You're there every single day. This corporate board at, Bank of America or Dick's Sporting Goods, the CEO, they're all cloistered up in their high-rise offices. They have no idea what, if any, feedback is being given.
Right, and most of the time they don't even realize how any of the policies that they make affect the average worker.
Right.
That's one of the things that I like. And, I don't watch a lot of TV shows, but one that if I happen to stumble across an episode of Undercover Boss, I will watch it.
I've seen a couple. Yeah.
Because it's one of those things to where the CEO puts on makeup, and a lot of times they'll add facial hair, or if the person has facial hair, they have them shave it off and
change their appearance.
Change the appearance.
And they go and get a job at their own company.
If you normally don't wear glasses, they'll add glasses. If you wear glasses, they'll give you contacts, and then they go work in the stores, and then they realize, oh wow, I didn't realize that the policy that I made saying that we need to do this is actually affecting people this way.
Right.
There was one of the episodes where I think the guy went to Dollar General.
Really?
And I heard you talking about Dollar General last night for some reason, but
Stefan called in. He says they're taking over the world.
Dollar General?
I don't know about that, but
they're taking over America.
The CEO, he had no clue that when they decided that we're going to have the cashier also be the stock person, that it was affecting things the way it was.
Yeah.
Because Dollar General isn't open the way Aldi is, to where, if you're the cashier and you're also the stocker, which they do at Aldi, you can actually see from anywhere in the store to see if somebody's up at the checkout area.
By the way, Aldi's is slowly taking over, and I'll let them.
Are they?
Yeah, give them another 20 years, and they'll be the big boys.
This is for listeners that don't know. Aldi is like
it's a German.
It's a German-owned grocer.
It's like budget buy to the max kind of grocery store where you can get decent grocery items, but you don't even get bags. Like you have to pay.
You can pay for bags
if you want bags.
You have to rent. You have to
bag your own.
You have to rent the shopping cart.
Right. And that's actually very smart, because
the whole thing is smart.
They don't have to pay somebody whose job it is to go fetch buggies.
Correct. Because what happens is you walk up and you have to put a quarter in to get the cart out, and then if you want to lose your quarter,
you just leave the cart out
then you leave
in
the
the
cart
yard.
wherever you want, and then somebody will be getting paid to go and get that back. But otherwise, if you put the cart back at the end of your shopping trip, you then can take your quarter back. So for the penny pincher types who are going out there, the coupon clippers, these types of people who are trying to save every penny they possibly can, like Conan, it's the perfect store because
Right.
you can bring old boxes and load up your own grocery
You
cart.
can grab their boxes.
I grab boxes from them and actually help them out so they don't have to worry about breaking something down, and that's what I put my groceries in.
Yeah, I've been there a couple times. It's an interesting business model.
Oh, I love it.
Yeah. So let's continue here with your calls and thoughts. We got Ken. He's calling us from South Georgia. Ken, you're on Free Talk Live. Go ahead.
Hey, guys. How are y'all?
Welcome, sir. You're on the air.
All right. Okay. If I understand what I've been listening to I hadn't been tuned in for just a few minutes.
Yes.
But you're talking about war and the sadness of it and what have you.
We might have been talking about that earlier in the show tonight. You're probably listening on delay would be my guess, but you're certainly welcome to comment. Go right ahead.
Okay, but anyway, the point is, in late summer 1941, my uncle was actually approached by the draft people here in the county and drafted into World War II. In March of 1942, even though there were only those two boys in the family, he was also drafted. Neither one of them got in. My father got out in December of 1945 after walking all over France in the Army. My uncle the same way. My father got 2 Purple Hearts. I know my uncle at least got 1. And for us to be sitting here talking about war and the badness of it is one good thing. However, if they had not done what they did with thousands upon thousands of other people doing the same thing, dying, bleeding all over that area, do you think we'd be talking English?
Yes,
or
I do.
Japanese or German or Italian?
I think we'd be talking English.
Absolutely, we would.
Okay, well, go ahead. Tell me how.
Because you think that the Germans are going to come across that ocean, or the Russians, or the Chinese, or the Japanese, and they're going to attack this country?
Ridiculous.
No, I'm not talking
with
about
all the
Russians.
rifles in this country?
The Japanese said that they weren't going to attack because behind every blade of grass there was a gun.
Hold on,
We
Ken.
had no business over there.
Ken, you stand by. We'll bring you back. We can talk further about this here. This is such a mythology, the idea that, if the U.S. government hadn't gone over and gotten involved in world
German.
wars, we'd be speaking German now. Or
Even
Japanese.
though the Russians basically had the war won.
It's ridiculous. We'll continue here with more in moments. It's Free Talk Live.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynovite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynovite.
Everything we tried failed except the Dynovite.
Pick up 2 bottles of Super Mega Fish Oil.
Get the 3rd bottle free. Packed with omega-3, DHA, and EPA fatty acids.
Super Mega is great for your dog's immune system, healthy skin, and soft, shiny fur.
Dogs love it. Try Super Omega Fish Oil.
Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dynovite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
Cryptocurrencies are successful because of good technology. The liberty-loving voluntarists who founded Zencash in 2017 took the best tech, like zero-knowledge anonymity and decentralized autonomous organizations, and are creating a secure platform for money, messages, and media that can be sent to anyone, anywhere in the world. Zencash is a cryptocurrency dedicated to peace, anonymity, and decentralization. Find out more at zencash.com. That's zencash.com.
It's been said, any society is only 3 missed meals away from chaos. Those times may be near. Think about it. Our country faces multiple terrorist threats and aggressions from Russia and North Korea. Social unrest and violent marches yet again may lead to looting of stores and city shutdowns. And our crumbling infrastructure leaves our power grid vulnerable to long-term outages from a single cyber attack. When the chaos from any one of these threats arises, the government knows it can't provide during a widespread national emergency. That's why you need your own plan for self-reliance. That's where My Patriot Supply comes in. Get a 4-week survival food supply for only $99. That includes breakfast, lunches, and dinners. Order online at preparewithgcn.com. $99 for 4 weeks of survival food that tastes like homemade cooking and lasts up to 25 years from My Patriot Supply. Get your kits today at preparewithgcn.com. Free shipping is included. preparewithgcn.com.
Free Talk Live.
Is it ever appropriate to use violence to oppose the state? I can't say I would blame somebody for wanting to meet the SS at the front door with the clubs and the guns or whatever they could to defend their family. I wouldn't blame them.
Gandhi went to jail. What if he had met the English at the door with shotguns instead of going to jail? I don't want to talk about this anymore because, it's just madness. I don't need to be playing these scenarios out where what am I going to do if this happens or what am I going to do if that happens?
It's not a good mindset.
I'm gonna get the chainsaw out and cut a couple of trees across the driveway, and I'm gonna sit out there with a 50 cal bullet, and I'm gonna pick them off.
It'll drive you crazy.
Nuts. I mean, you're gonna die from high blood pressure and a lot of shiny guns. I'm a ticking time bomb waiting to go off. Coppers.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Wolverines. Brrr.
LRN.FM is proud to announce our official listening apps for Android and iOS devices. Now you can easily tune into our streams anywhere, anytime on your smartphone or tablet. Just visit apps.lrn.fm or search for LRN.FM in the Android or Apple app stores. Please download, rate us 5 stars, then share the link on your social media and let your friends and family know how you're listening to LRN.FM. Download it now, free at apps.lrn.fm.
When you hear the word lobbyist, you probably think about greedy corporations, but not all lobbyists are the same. Some are fighting for the freedoms you hold dear. Liberty Lobby LLC is doing just that in New Hampshire, working hard to represent you, not some special interest group. You can help by going to libertylobby.info, where your contribution will give us the tools we need to ensure that your voice is heard. Visit libertylobby.info today to find out more.
Some of our live shows are streamed in HD on Twitch. Please follow and share at twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. We invite you to join us on the radio. That's what we do. Open the phones, take your calls about whatever is on your mind. Our number here, 855-450 free like freedom. We've got Skype as well. It's Skype username lrn.fm, or hop on in the on-air call-in line room on our Discord over at discord.lrn.fm. If you like Free Talk Live and you appreciate the work that we do here, that is to say getting on radio stations with the ideas of liberty, which sometimes can be shocking to those in the radio listening audience. We have one of those shocked listeners on the line with us right now. But if you want to hear more Free Talk Live on more radio stations around the United States, we've got over 180 active stations right now. We can have more than that. It just takes money to market the show effectively to those stations, and that's what Darryl and I do during the daylight hours, is call those radio stations and try to get them on board. So if you want to see us do more of that, if you want to see us get on more stations and get cool perks that nobody else has access to, like the AMP-only podcast, the AMP-only Facebook group, the AMP-only Discord chat rooms, and more, go to amp.freetalklive.com. You can get signed up with PayPal. You can use credit card and Bitcoin Core there, and you'll get all the perks, and you'll help us out a lot. So please join the AMP program and become a Free Talk Live amplifier at amp.freetalklive.com. As we go back to Ken in South Georgia. Ken, you have trotted out the ages-old argument that if it weren't for the U.S. government's involvements in World War II, or perhaps the previous conflict, that we'd all be speaking German or Japanese.
Or we would have never gotten out of the Great Depression. That was another big one.
Yeah, I don't want to put words in your mouth, so does that accurately reflect what you were saying there?
Actually, did you refer to me as a shocked listener?
Yeah, you sound like you're pretty shocked. Like, normally people don't hear this kind of talk on the radio, right?
Not so much, but shock is not a good word.
Okay, how would you describe yourself?
I'm 59 I'll be 59 in August. And I've seen a lot of things go on in this country, in the world. And all I do is try to absorb it and make a decision on it.
Mm-hmm. Well, you decided to call in tonight to talk about it, so let's talk about it. You believe that we would be speaking other languages if it weren't for the U.S. military's involvement in world conflicts in the early 20th century. That's your viewpoint, correct?
As far as history goes, you can look back at certain things that happened. Those certain things happen, and they propagate other things that are going to follow.
Right, like how the U.S. government...
World War I causing World War II.
You mean like how the U.S. government got into World War I causing World War II? That kind of thing?
No, I didn't say anything about World War I. The only thing I was talking about was World War II.
Well, but you have to talk about World War I if you want to talk about World War II. And
why is that?
Darryl, did you want to explain?
Well, World War II would not have happened had not the U.S. government and the British government imposed some pretty stringent sanctions and retaliations against Germany after World War I, and because of that, it wound up creating hyperinflation in the Weimar Republic, which led to the rise of Adolf Hitler, who wound up deciding, after he became Chancellor of Germany, that he wanted to take over Europe, basically to prove that Germany could wind up, basically recovering from World War I.
Well, we showed them better than that, didn't we?
I was not there, so I didn't show anybody.
But my parent, and my uncle was, and a whole lot of other people that most likely your relatives were also there.
Yeah, so I definitely had some grandfathers that were in the military.
Hold on, I've got a couple of questions for you. Where do rights come from?
Rights?
Yes. Where do they come from?
Where do your rights come from?
Well, I'm curious where you believe rights come from. Do you believe that you are endowed by your creator with rights, or do you believe that rights come from government?
That's a very good question. But by the same token, what's going to frame your opinion and whatever, if you've ever been in college or whatever it is, whatever training you've had, all those things are going to frame your opinion as to that. My rights, to my notion, come from God.
Okay, good. So we're in agreement here. The rights come from the Creator.
That's a very simplistic statement.
Right, rights come from the Creator. We don't get our rights because some government has deemed that we have them. We don't have freedom because people died 300 years ago. We don't have rights because of human sacrifice. True or false?
Oh, I think we have all kinds of rights from humans, or at least sacrificed by humans, as far as what they did to either fight for the rights that they thought were right or not.
So it's a contradiction with what you just said a moment ago. So you said that you believe rights were imbued by God, and then a moment later you said that rights were given through human sacrifice.
Right. If you look back at the Constitution and et cetera, when we got away from Great Britain, when the king was over there telling us exactly what to do and taking money from us, doing this, that, and the other, okay? The founders, regardless of their faults, had at least a basic principle of certain things that should be done to ensure that this country was going to be able to maintain itself in a fashion where nobody else basically could monkey with us.
You know, those founders also wrote a constitution that excluded having a standing army, right? So their idea was to not go around and get involved in other countries' conflicts around the world. You do understand that, right?
Okay, that was 1700s. They didn't know what was going to happen.
So there's the very founders that you were just worshiping a moment ago.
The founders who wrote that all men are created equal, they are endowed by their creator with certain unalienable rights. They also wrote some other stuff, but some of the other stuff needs to be changed
Look, I'm not saying they were right about everything. I agree with the fact they are fallible humans, no doubt about it. So what you're saying is you're saying the founders of the United States were wrong in their idea of staying out of other countries' business. The United States should get into other conflicts around the world as it has for over 100+ years, 200 years or however long it's been, and they should just meddle and pick sides and create enemies all around the globe. And that's good for freedom.
And sacrifice their young men and women.
And that's good for freedom. That's how freedom gets grown. Killing.
All right. First of all, you just said that I worshipped our founders. One of you did.
Okay, whatever. You can just move past that. We'll say you don't worship the founders because obviously you found some fallible. You found that they're fallible, and you believe that one of their fallible, aspects is that they believed in the United States keeping to its own business and not getting involved in world conflicts. You're saying if we want to stay free, we have to slaughter people in various different world conflicts, right?
All right. Let me ask you this. All right, you're saying that we don't need to get into any other conflicts. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
In the 1700s and on up, as this country was doing its thing to get to weed out all the bad stuff and try to get to the good stuff, are you telling me that you don't think that in that period of time, in the last 200+ years, that other areas of the world have come to the point that they are just totally intent on destroying us? When you see 2 towers fall in New York City, blown up by airplanes, when you see Japanese Zeros,
damn Japs,
however many years ago that was, blowing up people, blowing up ships in Hawaii,
which happened as a result of the U.S. government blockade against Japan. That didn't come out of nowhere, right? You've been around for a while, right? You know that the attack in Pearl Harbor didn't just come out of nowhere. You do know that, right? That was ginned up by the U.S. government?
I'm sure that you're going to say that the American government...
Go read the McCollum memo.
Propagated that.
They did. Go read the McCollum memo.
They let it
That's
happen.
history, dude.
What about World War I? Okay, so you're saying...
Yeah, you mean the war that Woodrow Wilson got elected on a promise to not get involved in and then got involved in? That war? The one that the American people didn't want to get involved in?
By allowing a passenger ship to get shot down.
What do you think about Korea shooting, blowing up, nuclear weapons and shooting everything anywhere they want to over there, around Japan and everybody else?
By Korea, you mean North Korea, the country that was created through the Japanese invading the country and then the U.S. government.
Let China and Japan handle them.
Yeah. Ken, thanks. We're out of time for tonight. You can call back any old night. We'd be happy to continue the discussion here because we don't believe that rights come from war, that peace comes from keeping to yourself. And if you keep invading other countries, well, guess what? You're going to make people mad, create terrorism, and that sort of thing. Create
Don't
blowback.
kill people in my name.
See you tomorrow. Free Talk Live. Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm.
Hi, this is Mark Edge of Free Talk Live. Michael W. Dean's book, User's Manual for the Human Experience, changed my life. In a culture that attempts to turn you into a compliant victim, this book gives you implementable steps on everything from how to be aware of your environment, walking down the street, to business, to how to handle a toxic person in your life. If you're a human, you need to read this book at least once. Go to Amazon and get the Kindle version, or paperback, or an audiobook of A User's Manual for the Human Experience.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
The latest episode of Declare Your Independence is next, after the news, here on the Liberty Radio Network, LRN.FM.
From Keene in the Shire, the Liberty Media capital of the world, this is Darryl W. Perry, host of FPP Radio News for Wednesday, April 18th, 2018. Silver is trading at $17.13 per ounce. Gold is valued at $1,353 per ounce. Zen Cash is trading at $33, and the average price of Bitcoin is $8,096. Antiwar.com reports a group of senators are proposing a new authorization for the use of military force to replace the existing one. This would clarify that force is authorized against the various militant groups, including the Islamic State, Al-Qaeda, and the Taliban, but would not authorize any attacks on any nations, including Syria. This is seen as an effort to make it more clear what Congress intends to authorize, as the 2001 AUMF has been used by all subsequent presidents as a virtual catch-all for launching new wars without a congressional debate. The new authorization for use of military force is backed by senators from both parties, including Senators Bob Corker and Tim Kaine.